ISU wins in an incredible spray down, incredible series.
Pistol whip. He's already planting. What is that? Oh, but the vertical position will be able to take one.
When I'm back on a climb, you're only with me in the back of my mind now. It's a cycle, it's a path I can't find. Sisyphus, grimace is the ride. Good shot. Vulnerable. Maybe it's my fate and it's all my fault. And I know.
You'll be fighting your.
And my prediction's right. I want to say it again. Say it again for chat. Say it again for
Your
chat.
prediction was right, my bad.
Yeah.
And now this menace is pushing down blue stairs, showing no signs of stopping. What a nectar pick! Oh my gosh! What the heck, Survey? How did he get away with that? 3 won't be able to take 1. Takes 2! Double kill. Now for a 1v1. The swing comes in, tries to go for a pre-fire, and the prone shot to take pencil.
Stay away from the drop though, so I don't. They only love me when I'm back on the climb. You're only with me in the back of my mind now. It's a cycle, it's a path I can't find. Sisyphus, grimace is the ride. You think that you know me good? You think that you know me?
They're already
Always advance. Say how I fail, you know I stand. Raising the bar, I gotta expand. Top of the charts, I'm setting up camp. Pounding my stakes, I put on my tent. Shoot for the stars, they fall in my hand. Stick to my guns, I don't even flinch. Can push all you want, ain't moving an inch. I rarely miss, you know I'm relentless. Ain't got a choice, no way to prevent it. Just who I am, and I don't regret it. See what I want, and then I go get it. Follow my gut, I'm happy I did it. Beat all the odds.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another scintillating week of the Midwest R6 playoffs. I'm Sojourner Kai, one of your casters, and over here next to me is Arcade Pro Alex, here to bring you another round of playoffs. First match going to be Marquette up against Ohio State Green. So, yeah, quite the match we have laid out for ourselves tonight, and hopefully going to see some really good competitive siege this evening. How are you feeling about tonight's matches, Alex?
I'm feeling great. This is our second week of playoffs, and we had some really good games last week. They were like slight steamrolls, but it was like some of the best siege I've ever seen. It was really well played, and I'm excited to see some more. It's gonna be a long night though.
Gotcha. I see that I'm also being corrected. It's Ohio University. My apologies. So Ohio University Green on that team specifically. And we'll actually just go ahead and jump right into talking about the lineups that we have for the Ohio Bobcats. You can see that Squeezy is sitting at 129 kills, which is a little bit away from what Dupless is sitting on the far side there of 22 kills. I have been told that there's been some jumps around in rosters and everything, but this is what we're going to be going out with tonight. In terms of overall SPRs, Squeezy definitely the standout performer, probably the most consistent across the season for Ohio, and the player that we'll be keeping an eye out for. And it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this roster holds up tonight as well. And yeah, what do you see when you see this team here, Alex? And what about their opponents as well?
I see it like I still think like they're really solid players. Like obviously having less experience, like they're not gonna have as many kills, but their SPRs aren't bad at all. So like obviously with a smaller sample size, like there's some room for a little bit of being off. But considering they don't have like as a team, they don't have nearly as many games played, nearly as many kills and whatnot. I think they're doing pretty well. I'm excited.
I've been told that they had forfeited some, but then when we compare them to their opponents here from Marquette on their lineup as well, Marquette, even though the Marquette team is seated at number 10, I believe, overall compared to Ohio State's number 7, we can see the lineups here for Marquette if they're ready. So yeah, for Marquette, a lot more even across the board in terms of their siege player rating, and also all hitting triple-digit kills. And again, with Ohio University, we were told that they might have had some matches that they had to forfeit. They're not looking quite as good in overall win streaks. Marquette, on the other hand, a 6-game win streak, and you would absolutely believe it with the stats that we have here tonight.
Yeah, it's again the siege player ratings. Like I kind of like this a little bit more. They're very balanced. So like obviously you have like Toucan, Hattie, and Leaf where they're a lot more kills, but everyone's keeping a really solid siege player rating. They're all like doing their job. They're playing as a team. There is standout players, but it's not to the degree of like this person's carrying the team. They're all putting in the work, and that's impressive. Like I respect them for it.
And that brings us to a neat little head-to-head. Even though Squeezy with the 129 to 104 against Hattie's 152 to 107. Pretty even overall siege player rating, of course, favoring Hattie slightly more, but those kills per round for Squeezy actually just slightly edging out the numbers of Hattie, which makes me think that even with less rounds played, Squeezy has proven himself to be the more consistent player across, or a overall more consistent player in terms of kills per round across the board, despite not having quite as high stats as Hattie here.
And I mean, you look at like kills per round, right? Lower survivability, it most likely means that he's maybe entering a little bit more, so getting his team like into those spaces where they have to get. And so while that isn't going to show up as amazing on stats, like looking at the correlation between the stats, it's huge, right? That's a really important role because you just need people to get you in through doorways, get you in through any space you need to take those gunfights. He's doing really well. Squeezy is a phenomenal player. Don't let the stats fool you.
And as a player over time as well, it's been a rough season for Ohio Bobcats just in general. So in the spring, Squeezy was seeing a nearly 60 siege player rate and has dropped down just slightly below 50. But like we mentioned, Ohio's not really been having a good run of it. In fact, coming into this match, they are, I think, winless throughout the regular season. So the reason why they're rated as a higher seed overall, despite being winless compared to Marquette's current 6-win streak, is because of the way that they did in their qualifiers and the divisions and how those divided up. And that's how we find ourselves here today. And I think that it's still impressive for Squeezy to be pulling off these kind of numbers, despite their having a relative, I can't really sugarcoat it. I think Ohio's had a poor season. And for Squeezy to be still putting up numbers that sit bang on average for most of the league overall, I think that really still speaks to his ability as a player. And hopefully he'll be able to make the difference for Bobcats tonight. But we'll also flip it over to the Marquette player just to speed things along a little bit here. What do you see with Hattie, Alex? What do we got for player over time here?
Survival rating obviously just a tiny bit lower than 4%, but every other stat like generally like greater across the board, right? So siege player rating obviously being higher means survival rating isn't as affecting, but kills per round almost a like 0.1 increase, which is really good. And then KDR just a lot higher, right? So putting out consistently more and more and better results. And so again, dying a little bit less is like surviving a little bit less, surviving a little bit less, but again, it's making those plays, right? So playing for more kills, playing for your life, sometimes you just have to get on and make those plays, and Hattie seems to be doing phenomenally with that.
Absolutely, and that is exactly why he'll be making the difference here. But before we talk about him making the difference, we of course have to talk about the maps. I mean, when I see this selection of maps, Alex, for me, I see Chalet, Clubhouse, Bank. These are maps that have been tried and true across multiple levels of competitive siege, and these are what I would say would be the maps that test your fundamentals. So between these teams, I mean, that's what I'm really seeing, right? Like I'm seeing if one of these teams has the better fundamental understanding of siege, that's the team that's going to come out on top in these maps. But I don't know, how do you feel about Chalet and all of the other maps we have here tonight?
Yeah, I'd actually agree mostly across the board. My view of Bank is a little bit different. I personally lean a lot more into Cafe. I think it kind of depends on the way that they look at fundamentals, right? With Bank, there's a lot more space to clear, and so like on attack, I feel like those fundamentals are huge. But then you look at Cafe, a lot of space to clear, but verticality, like for the defense especially, because depending on which site you're playing, right, you have to be able to fight that verticality a lot better. And Chalet and Clubhouse, they've been like tried and true fundamental maps for as long as I can remember, and they deserve their spot. I'm glad to see them being played personally.
Yeah, and even with fundamentals, you do still have to have a player to watch. Hattie likes Chalet, and this is his individual stats on this map specifically. 48 to 34 KD, a nearly 1 kill per round with a couple of exceptions and a 31% survival rate. Pretty impressive stuff, and definitely the player to be making a difference, especially on this first map here. So probably a leading Marquette to victory if these stats are to be believed, but we're going to jump right into our top 5 video players already ready. So without further ado, here we are, presented by Ubisoft.
See you soon. Sure.
CS
Nice.
player dead.
Good pick.
What? Take it.
Take it
There's
down.
two in there. One more.
Another
Oh,
the chair.
CS double.
Freezer door, freezer door.
Tap.
Nice.
Gonna get active
Doc
outside.
string piano. Doc string piano. One up. A zombie was bathroom door.
Okay, okay.
Oh my god.
Last one was bathroom. Bathroom door.
Oh my god.
Steven! Holy shit, you're so good! Oh my god, Steven. And it's only.
All right, welcome back. So we are jumping straight into operator bans after the absolutely phenomenal top 5. Those are the clips keep getting better every week, I swear. Flores ban, off rip from Marquette. Let's see what they got next. Oh, not the Monty ban. Not again. Every week.
Monty, yeah, I mean, ACAC is just as surprised as we are. Oh no, the Monty ban. I've never seen that one happen before. I don't know how close of an eye you've been keeping on the Montreal major that's going on as well, Alex, but I believe Monty is the I'm going to double check my stats here, but I believe Monty is the most banned operator at that event, as Zombie also a pretty frequently banned operator too, just because of the efficiency at which she can hold down locations. The last ban will be Mira, which makes sense for Chalet.
Yeah. Mira and Chalet is bonkers.
Yeah, like really typical bans, I would say, and I am correct. It's 58% of games in the Montreal major, so even at the professional level, Monty is banned. And so I'm not at all surprised to see that here. Flores is a bit of a niche ban. We see that on Chalet quite frequently. And first floor is going to be Barn Gaming, or first site's going to be Barn Gaming.
Barn Gaming. It's, in my opinion, I think it's the most interesting side of the map. Obviously, it's very like, oh, if you have a mirror, you play mirror, castle, but it's one of the most flexible sites on the map because you can play wide roam, verticality, right? Library is a really important space. So again, depending on how you want to fight for that, whether you want to play like top stairs, like on the balcony, in my opinion, most interesting site to see played on this map. I think Kitchen probably would end up being second just because top and bottom floor have been played so much for good reason. They're the best sites. But, yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with it. I am hating the Monty ban, though. That hurts me deep in my soul.
Kitchen's always an interesting one, too, because I'm going back through my notes from prior weeks on Chalet, and some teams really like playing Kitchen on Chalet. Some teams will avoid it like the plague, and so you have no idea exactly which teams are going to be bringing it as their tertiary site, but I mean, for now, it is Barn Gaming. A lot of that extension being put out towards the master bedroom and office side as well. And without the mirror, you don't have quite as much presence as you can have in library, but I don't think it's not damaging them too much because they are bringing the Clash to slow down some of the advances here too. As Squeezy has made his way in, the trophy already taking up so much space inside of Solarium. Look at how much ground they're covering already.
I mean, the reinforcement's going to stop them though, right? They're going to have to open that up with the castle barricade too. But that mirror, I think, is going to be huge, right? Or the Clash, sorry, not the mirror. No, but like, I think Clash is huge on this, right? I like seeing the entire top floor room because there's so much space. I like seeing it a lot. And also, I think they had a walkway through one of the walls up top, so they aren't just going to get trapped in piano. There might be a castle on the double door as well. I'm not entirely sure if I saw that correctly, but they're really going to have to like push this Clash out while also staring her dead in the face on the balcony.
Yeah, even though they've taken up a lot of the space on this backside over by master bedroom and office, the Clash is... Well, it does the same thing that a Monty would on attack, right? You stand there as a shield and take up space away from the opposing team, and you're also able to give away so much intel. You're basically like a human drone in some ways as well. But with Clash, you're extra annoying because of that slowing shock ability. Esports just go out onto the mezzanine wall, though, so you do have some space being taken, a lot of the verticality by Ohio, a lot of the checklist sort of stuff is being done at a decent pace, but the problem that I'm seeing already preemptively is the matter of execution. And if Leaf manages to get the first kill, for example, on top of Library Stairs, thanks to the information from the Clash, this could go downhill for Ohio very quickly.
Yeah, I completely agree, right? That Clash, I think is going to be huge for this, right? Like, they have to be able to clear her out, right? With a minute left. She has a shield. She's by herself. They have Wamai gadgets, which is going to be huge, right? Denies. They have EMP nades, I guess, which could be kind of annoying, but, like, she's basically uncontested. And Hattie gets a pick on a squeezy, cute, and Leaf kills Toothless. Gets immediately refrag, though, so down 3, 4v3. At 4v2 in favor of Marquette. Drops down Wii, and I think Library, too. So guarding the Clash is back. They're going to keep holding on to blue stairs. And the Clash is just, I think, just standing there menacingly. Nope, pushing up, yeah. You just can't deal with it, right? Like, without another player, without the EMPs, and completely alone, I have no idea how Shtick is going to get out of this.
Stitch also has to face down that deployable shield, but would instead face a hail of bullets, the Clash shock as well.
Really
3
died of the
HP
Clash?
left remaining, but ACAC doesn't actually live the rest of the round. Hattie, who had struck first for Marquette, will be also striking last to take the last little bit of HP off the ace player. And yeah, like, we had mentioned the Clash so many times because it is an operator that lives rent-free in any ranked player's head. You don't want to see a Clash in your games because you're like, oh, these jerks are playing Clash, how dare they? But really, you see the effectiveness there, being able to stand behind that deployable shield on top of the library stairs and stop the advances. Like, as soon as they got to the mezzanine wall, the wall going from Master Office out into chimney, fireplace, that sort of area, the attack just stopped dead in its tracks. Ohio had nowhere else to go, and Clash was such a major component of that in ways that you don't normally see a lot of other operators do. So there's a lot of strength played around that operator and played extremely well by Marquette on the defense.
Yeah, and I think, like, being kitchen. I guess they're one of the teams that are a little bit more, flexible down to play kitchen. But the aggressive Clash, I think, is huge, right? Because with shields, it's like playing aggressive, right? But you're on defense, so it's like you have to balance that aggression and playing a little bit more passive. But especially with Clash, they can't get on top of you if you play it correctly. Just being able to slow them, damage them. They can't walk up on you if you have your team guarding your back. There's not a lot you can do about it, and so you're forced into a decision of, do you keep fighting the same space, use some utility, maybe have like 2 people trying to face the Clash, or you just leave, right? If you leave, that Clash has taken so much map space, and they didn't lose anything for her. She's still alive and has everything on her.
Yeah, Clash is a strange operator in the way that if she's the last one alive as well, you have to you're not really doing too well against the rest of the team, but behind a full team of support, you can see how effective Hattie was with the Warden on Library Stairs as well in that last round. But this is round 2. There's no Clash this time around, but the Castle and Warden and Wamai remains the same as we go into Kitchen here. First little bit of attack for Ohio being pushed into Library and eventually Piano. They'll spot out the Frost there, so they know that this operator is on the board. But even if you know that Frost is on the board, I do find that sometimes you just think, there's not a Frost mat here, and you run straight into one. Speaking of which, Timmy runs straight into the bullets of Leaf. Head removed, and so is the Gridlock. So there goes your Flank Watch operator as well.
And that's, I like the way that they're holding Piano, right? Like, again, you sometimes will see it on top floor, but again, holding outside the site, they can't take that space. I want to say, I think they're opening the mezzanine wall, because there's no wall denial from the side of Marquette. So it's very much like keep the wall open, but with their shields and my gadgets, and the way that they're playing it, right? They're playing extended. They can fall back into trophy, and they can fall back onto site. It's huge, especially you have the dog to keep everybody alive. Your Frost is holding space passively. They can't just jump in through any window, so you have so much backing to fall back on that, minute and a half down, they might just be left with no choice but to bum rush side and pray for the best.
It's not a good idea, especially when you're up against a Warden and you don't really have a team that's exactly built for that kind of attack. I mean, you would expect a Ying or maybe Finka to be able to help you with that. Maybe even a Blitz, because Blitz is available and on the board here.
Oh my god, he is.
But you see, when I see something like Thatcher and Therma, I think that you're trying to get these default pushes open. And of course, you do get the main wall open, and you have this long angle all the way from outside of Fireplace looking back towards top of West Main and Trophy. But again, like you said, it does have to. It might come down to a rush from Ohio again, and without, even though they are doing a lot of the checklist work necessary, I feel that they're not. Marquette's not giving them a lot of the space to actually capitalize on it. Like, okay, sure, you open up the wall inside a fireplace. What are you going to do about it? You still have to worry about angles from somebody potentially in bar, or somebody even sitting by like the mudroom on first floor to hold that cross going into kitchen hall.
15 seconds to go.
So it's all a matter of getting those checklists and actually doing something with the space, and Marquette's just not allowing them to as 15 seconds tick down.
Yeah, so with the warden. Oh, okay. Imp drop stitch. Okay, so 5v3, literally 3 seconds. They just have to try to get down both the warden and the smoke. Yeah, he's just gonna walk in. Drops 2. All right. I think they unstick the defuse. Either that or a down. I couldn't tell which. But I mean, again, perfectly played. Right, it came down to a rush. They kind of had the reverse problem, right? So rather than pushing top floor and then having to, like, they have no space on the bottom, they pushed the bottom, but they had no presence above. So Marquette felt completely comfortable anchoring basically anywhere on the site. Okay, it was a kill. We were right. It was a kill, not a down.
Ooh, a little bit of a replay.
Yo, the replay
test the
system.
new system.
Production was letting us know, and I'm hyped to see it. But again, like they had the reverse problem, right? No top floor presence means like Marquette is not pressured in any way, shape, or form to kind of lead their anchoring positions. And with the warden up, which I'm fairly certain Ohio knew about the warden, but like, you know, sometimes you just have to throw the smokes, hope for the best. Maybe he misses, maybe he doesn't use his utility. You never know what happens in the heat of the moment. But it's a bit rough, right? You have to, it's a dual attack, but it felt like there was not enough on either side to really make a difference, and so they just kind of left it in the heart of the cards.
Yeah, the heart of the cards isn't exactly where you want to be when you're playing Siege. There's always a saying that I've heard passed around where it's like how Siege might be a game that you can look at stats and everything for, but it's never a game that's played on paper. Cards are made of paper. You don't want to believe in something that you can't be playing Siege on. And when Ohio throws like Hail Marys like that, and Marquette is so well prepared to handle them, you have to wonder as well, like, what other steps do Ohio actually have to be taking in order to make sure that Marquette is actually pushed off of their off balance here, right? And I think that a lot of that comes down to the entries for Ohio needing to take a little bit more space away from Marquette. Okay, sure, you open up the wall going from into master bedroom or master office from the mezzanine, or you open up the wall from fireplace going into dining. But then they just stand there. They don't try to push further to push the people out of master bedroom. They don't push further to then try and actually make space into the dining bomb site and plant behind, on the default there. And that's where I think that, like, where Marquette is really understanding the game well. It's like, okay, well, you might have gotten that space open. Now you have to challenge us, and Ohio hasn't been up to the challenge. Marquette is taking the rounds in Storm because of it. So that's how these first couple rounds have looked to me so far. Again, another Warden play. I think they might really be anticipating a blitz to be coming out, but we haven't seen it at all. Instead, we're seeing this Deimos Thermite Thatcher combo. So a lot more linear take from Ohio on the first, at least on the first steps that they need to take.
Yeah, it looks like it may be like another vertical take right there. So they're entering into library, taking the space. There was somebody, I want to think they might have dropped back to site, but there was somebody in dining with some walls open into lobby. I like that kind of roam. Especially on this side, it looked like they were, like with the Frostwood Vigil, they're looking to play a little bit more roam heavy. So they were able to open up the wall on site rather than reinforce that main site wall from garage. And so, like, opening up for the Tachanka, which, my goat Tachanka, I'm so glad to see him played more. We saw a decent amount of him last week. But, like, having the ability to just, like, rain Hellfire, and if you're just holding the space on defense, like, there's not a lot Ohio can really do, right?
Power of Ram right there, too. Oh.
No, did it get stuck?
I think it did, but I think you have to wait for the other one to stop rolling to actually activate the second one, so... Snowmobile wall's open with half the round left to go, so that's good.
I'm down to see it, obviously, but again, like, right, they have to be willing to push the space, because, like, I like where they're at, right? I like how much map control they've taken, but we might see a flank from Leaf here. I honestly like this, especially with how passive they're playing, right? If you get aggressive on the road, you immediately chunk down maybe in 20 or 30 seconds, because they're really solid with, like, the space they're taking, like, that final push they can't make. So when you have a Vigil taking up all that extra time, they will be probably another buzzer beater, is what I'm expecting here. Except maybe for the Nomad. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Timmy's taking a little bit of damage, so they're aware of a player being upstairs, but not a lot of movement's been made to actually capitalize on. Timmy's going to be the first one down as well. Leaf on the second floor as the Vigil, who is prone behind the piano, drops the Nomad. That flank watch operator that you were relying on to watch out for that Vigil does find the Vigil, but also finds his bullets riddling her body.
And he
With
gets
30
targeted by
seconds
bullets.
left.
Oh, that's rough, right? Like, again, like, you have no time. So you basically have to commit, pray he doesn't immediately flank you, and then run it down. I mean, I like the position Damos is in here. Okay, I'm down. You drop Hattie. Right, 4v4, 15 seconds. They're at least trying to take a hallway here, the elbow. But again, like, okay, so Leaf is upstairs. They get Diffuser down. There's somebody on the main stairs. Maybe Leaf picks up a kill. Maybe another second one. Oh no! You can't be losing like that. 4v2 in favor of Ohio. 33 seconds and basically nothing for Marquette to do here. I stand corrected.
I'm a little surprised that we actually got a plant down here. Tachanka throwing out all the bullets possible, but not nearly enough to hold Marquette's 2-0 lead. Ohio was shortened it by 1. Not much of a lead, but after the plant went down inside of main, I think it might have, you know what I think might have honestly happened in that round that we didn't quite see was a little moment of and here's a little bit of replay on the main stairs. Leaf whiffing the shots of the SMG-12 as Dupless was just ready for that. this like this 75 bullets in that magazine from Tachanka is like one of the funniest looking things to me. And he just holds down left click forever. But what I think might have accidentally happened there was that Marquette was distracted by the upstairs take. Leaf gets a kill onto the Nomad and is isolated on the second floor inside a piano. And then Ohio's like, hey, let's just plant inside of snowmobiles. And Marquette was so focused on the rest of the take being held upstairs or like around back on Wine Cellar for some reason, even though the snowmobile wall had been open, that Ohio just gets the plant down for free in a slightly unwinnable position. It's like consulate. You plant on the main wall in basement. And how do you handle that? You really don't. And Marquette loses a defensive round because Ohio has the heads up on them. So really a good heads up play from them to pull a round back.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like sometimes the best play is to just run it down and hope for the best. Especially like, what was the? I remember there was a quote. Basically, the general idea is like, you know, you can plan for everything, but in the heat of the moment, you're not going to make the best decisions. So you just kind of have to hope for the best. And sometimes you just do it. And I respect it from Ohio, right? They made the play, they got it down, and it's possible it was just a misstep from Marquette, but. You know, maybe, I don't think they'll be making that mistake again. Back to Bar Gaming with the clash again. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the same poll on Library, right?
Yeah. Looks like they're clearing maybe about the same space that Ohio took last time. They're clearing about that same amount of space. But we do see a Capital. Ooh, Capital. Okay. I'm liking this lineup. I'm liking this a lot. A lot more utility to do with the flash. But also, okay, they still have a Warden, though. So no Capital smoke shenanigans here, unfortunately.
There's a Malusi with a bunch of my discs around her window as well. So even if you try to fire in the Capital nades to try and dislodge her from this position inside the library, you have to spend a lot of resources for this one player if they do decide to go for Imp here.
Yeah, they don't have the like resources though. Like they have like maybe like one set of smokes and some EMPs, right? So they don't exactly have a way. I mean, maybe if you chuck like a fuse somewhere, like if you really got lucky. But you don't have the utility to get the Capital, and then you have to split, right? Do you want to kill the guy who's in library, or do you want to kill the Clash, who basically was the stopping force of your last attempt? But I mean, Stitch is just in. Just taking the space, getting the same walls open. Timmy goes down, unlucky. Hattie picks one up. Oh, that was the fuse. That was going to be their ability to take the one down. This Malusi might just be stuck here for the entire round and hold everything.
Could have also been their idea for raining Hellfire onto site, or even potentially using Fuse as a secondary Claymore ability, really. A bit of a flick from Leaf goes missing as Stitch crosses into Piano, trying to break open this castle barricade to get himself back out onto the balcony. Spots out the Clash. Squeezy, good for 2, though.
And Leaf. Okay, again, this is exactly what they need, right? Just send it, right? 40 seconds, sure. We're looking at a 4v3 in favor of Ohio. The Clash is basically stuck on the staircase, and I want to say you have like most of the space, maybe. Oh, yeah. No, you don't. Ohio is just basically completely clearing. They're collapsing faster. They have more map control. It's not just an above take anymore. And I don't even know. Like, you're fighting this with a shorty. I feel for this Clash.
15 seconds
Always
to
feels
go.
bad when you have the super shorty on Clash, because really her main gadget is the shield, and when you're down to gunfire, you're not going to be swapping to the SPSM anyway. Does actually get one back on Stitch. Let's
go.
3 for Squeezy on the round.
Wait, he has to stick.
No way.
Well, wait. Clash
What on
shenanigans?
earth is happening?
Oh my gosh. I have no words. I didn't know what was like generally what's happening. I'm like watching it back and I'm like, okay, so there are two things that were going through my head. Either A, he was trying to just kill the Capitao. Maybe he was low enough. I don't know if I don't know if he had any damage on him. Or B, maybe he was like, all right, I'm gonna catch him off guard and flick the shield behind me and just pull it like a Reddit clip. Neither of those happened. He got dropped. But that was so scary. I was like, there's no way Marquette gets that with a 1v3 Clash super
Defenders,
shorty.
protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Oh goodness gracious, that was
As
so
our
Attackers
Lord and
discovered
Savior
the
Jinxie
location of a
once
bomb.
said, so we're in Copper. I mean, that was like the most chaotic, bizarre round end that I had ever seen. The Capitao was about 50 HP, and the 3 shocks of the Clash Shield dropped him to 35, which wasn't enough to kill him, but he was like, oh, wait, hold on, I have the case, and we're hitting 000 here, so I have to hold this down for us to win the round, and Ohio is able to win it eventually.
10
If the
seconds
Capitao
left.
was lower HP, yes, the shield would have knocked him, and they dropped the diffuser, and a round goes
5
in
seconds left
Marquette's
before
favor
insertion.
because of the Clash anyway.
I'm
Which is,
laughing at the
Attackers are
possibility.
heading out to defuse.
yeah, my brain is soup, and it is Ohio and Marquette who have blended it in that way. Like, I don't.
They have served you. Well played.
They have. The immersion blender of Siege has done irreparable damage to my synapses this evening, and I'm already. I was like I was kind of locked in, but after that round, I am on the edge of my seat, holding the edges of my desk. I am so ready for some Siege this evening now.
I was just like falling off my desk. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, maybe Clash gets our run back. Maybe we get the Clash run back, right? Same 1v3, the guy dies. Obviously, hopefully not. Hopefully Marquette, gets the 05 flawless. But I don't think it's gonna happen, honestly. Like, it really does feel like a close game. I think it's just Ohio's speed. Like throughout the 4 rounds that we've seen, right? They've lost primarily to just not having the time, right? When they get that bomb down, they get the diffuser down, you win. But the 2 rounds that they lost, and obviously, fuse into piano, getting nobody, unlucky. But they've only lost time. They haven't really lost to a whole lot else.
Yeah, a lot. The Ohio attacks, aside from those first couple of rounds, I mean, they had a timeout after round 2 resolved, and I think that part of what they had to say in that was like, okay, we're going too linear with our takes, so we need to try and branch out a little bit more. We know that they like to play the Clash. We know that they like to play this castle. Clash also brought down to 8 HP from the fuse. But I think that's what that timeout had really signified for Ohio after those first 2 rounds. They knew that there was something wrong with their map control, and they have made exactly the right steps to change those facts. And despite the fact that Marquette's on a 6-game win streak, mind you, and Ohio has been winless throughout the entire season, there's still a reason why we have them as the 7th seed, and they are showing their capability despite some of the strange rounds that we've seen so far. I mean, 2-2 tied game, it's anyone's game at this point. No real full standouts so far.
I completely agree. Like, again, so, like, they're space taking, right? It feels like they're taking similar space, but they also... Squeezy kills Leaf. We get a refrag from Hattie. So, Clash manages to stay on the stairs, but look at the health pools of Marquette. They're bleeding over the floor. It's a trail. It's a trail of blood. And the blood gets redder as Hattie gets dropped. Unlucky. 30 seconds. Oh no.
Ooh, a wide peek on the hatch drops Imp, leaving only the Clash and Toucan in a 2v4 yet again. But only 19 seconds remain for Ohio to push into this site. They have the space, but do they have the intel on these players? A great flick from Toucan knocks Stitch out from the window inside of Bar. They know they're inside of the back bar. Toucan gets one more. 5
Get
seconds
on
left.
site, smoke and flame. So best gun. UMP. He gets a third. Does he get the fourth through the smoke? He doesn't know he's planting. Oh, he misses. He has no ammo. No, the super shorty again. No. Oh, that is so unlucky. It was an amazing 3 kills. Those were incredibly played. But the super shorty just missed. It just missed.
The whiff on the shots on the player from Ohio was planting below the window, below that tiny little half wall inside of gaming. That is pretty much as close as Ohio can get to almost losing a round. It comes down to there's a 2v4, Toucans inside a back bar with the UMP. If the UMP has 5 more bullets, imagine it's a 26 round gun. If that gun has 5 more bullets, Toucan wins the round from Marquette. That is how close it gets there. But instead, runs out of bullets after clutching the rest of the players out and has to pull out the super shorty, and he can't do enough damage at that range. That is so incredibly close for Marquette, but Ohio, they did their checklist. They knew what they had to do to get the control, and despite an extremely messy post run or end of the round there, really, they are still able to win that out 3-2. And worst that they can do for this half now, even after such a close round, is 3-3. And I think they've set themselves quite up well. They set themselves up quite well for the rest of this match.
I mean, I legitimately, like, again, 2 really close rounds. It comes down to just a little bit of time, right? 2 little, like, I guarantee, right? I don't know if that point could have gone down any later, but if it did, I think Ohio loses. So again, they've sped up just a little bit, and it's been making a massive difference. I think it's 3 rounds in a row.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. 3 rounds in a row. Like, again, that adaptation is, I love seeing that, right? You spot your weakness 2 rounds in, you get 4 rounds of just playing your best. And I mean, if they win one more, that in my eyes, once you adapt it, undefeated. Like, that's crazy good. If you can just adapt like that and figure out those weaknesses so quick, I have massive respect for them for that. But I guess we'll have to see.
Another thing that I'd like to point out, another stat that I keep in my notebook here, is I keep track of which team strikes first, whoever gets the first blood in the round. Marquette got it for the first 4 rounds in a row. Ohio's first round getting first blood was last round, the 5th round, that one that ended so narrowly. So I think that round win might also be really key for giving them momentum. They've been winning the rounds now, and now they are initiating on the rounds. Hattie's sitting over here by the entrance into Master Bedroom. Gone 6 is firing out, but the deployable shield remains, so it'll be a bit of a headache for Ohio to continue to deal with, especially that they're not running the Ash now, but they are running the Zero, who has been recently buffed. I mean, 6 cameras, 5 of them have been deployed, so much intel gathered by this player to hopefully help Ohio win 4-2, but Marquette seem well positioned to also hold down their defenses and tie this half up.
The warden is
all just a matter of time.
That's huge. Like that cam right there, like knowing where the warden is huge, because again, the last time that happened, right, that smoke was up, he did nothing for him. Now they know where the warden is. Maybe he's tapping that warden cannot. He will get tapped if he peeks it. So honestly, they might even be able to get a smoke plant down depending on how they play with the warden. But Hattie does kill Timmy, that is the Kappa Tower down. I stand corrected. Thermite will have to smoke instead, or you will have no smokes.
And even then, you're smoking into a warden again on Kitchen. I mean, we saw a very similar repeat of this round in the 2nd round of the game, where I think it was a blind fire from Hattie or somebody who was playing Frost that went through the kitchen hall to eventually claim the player that was planting at the time. But really, like, I don't know. Again, we're down to 15 seconds. Ohio is so beleaguered in being able to get these final points down, but Stitch is planting. However, they're not aware of the burn.
No, we ate Stitch. Get dropped. Marquette. Okay, refrags come out. It's 1v3 favor of Marquette, and oh no, they had too much space. It was just too much space from the side of Marquette, and they just couldn't fight it. Like, you try to get the plant down, hope for the best, and the best it was not enough because you just couldn't like push the. I think it was a slight like flank runaround from the Frost, if I caught that correctly.
I believe so. Yeah, Hattie had been playing up in piano the whole round, and then locked down master bedroom and walked down solar. So then either walk down solar or walk down library, because the flank would have been library side, or even fireplace, either or. Whatever the point is there, because that deployable shield was able to give Hattie so much space looking into piano, Ohio didn't feel comfortable pushing into Marquette's players, and Marquette wins off of having really great control of that second floor in that round. Even though you have all the intel that you need, you don't actually have the angles necessary to protect your planter. And when it comes down to the final 20 seconds, Marquette having the better position and a better understanding of where the players are on the map, is able to win a very comfortable 6th round on the defense and tie things up 3-3. Now it just depends on how they want to attack this, too. Castle being brought out and Frost, but a very different lineup in terms of its philosophy from Ohio this round.
So playing more like, you know, wall denial information, rather than playing like actual game, like Flash, right? Flash, upstairs. I'm, again, only one deployable shield across. It makes sense. But it's a little bit different, right? I don't actually mind this at all. So playing to kind of keep that wall closed, because again, that's kind of how they abused the dining room, like on attack. That's how Ohio abused it, right? You know, you walk through, you just open up the wall, walk on a site. They're playing a little bit more, I guess, denial, which I like a lot. But I do see a blitz from the side of Marquette, and so I'm excited, but I'm scared.
Leave, like, counting his lucky stars. There was a drone that went in, but there's no frost mat on that window. And getting so much space inside of the library. Very similar clear as well to what Ohio had been doing, taking space on the opposite side on the second floor, just to make sure that there aren't any tertiary roamers going way off site here. And in fact, if you see the blue outlines of Ohio here, a lot of them are around site, aside from the two that look to be inside of master bedroom right now. And I think that's the Frost and the Mute, if I'm not totally mistaken over here. No, the Castle and the Mute. Oh, and you know, actually, everyone's up here. It's a party. Yeah. Oh, look at that, Jinx. You owe me a soda. Anyway, it's an entire party up here with all of the Ohio players, but no Warden notably in this lineup. Because Ohio hadn't been playing blitz on attack, I wonder if they're also not anticipating while they're playing defense. If Leaf gets some point of entrance here, this could become a very messy roam clear very, very quickly for Marquette. Well, messy in terms of how Ohio will probably fall apart to the blitz here. However, they're taking it more direct. They might even be raiding into the fact that there are multiple players upstairs as they open up the dining wall. Minute left in the round.
I don't hate it. My only problem is, again, right, we saw what happened last time with Marquette's defense, Ohio offense. Like, you have to at least take some upstairs space, which I think they have one player fireplace. I want to say that might be Thermite Gridlock. Might be IQ. It's one of the three, I think. Like, upstairs, but there's not a whole lot, you know, coming down from that. I think it might just be a bit of flank watch, maybe a little bit of verticality, but no Warden means they can just walk in, except for the blitz having to take from above and getting shot in the side of the head by Timmy. I think Timmy goes down, though, so kind of a 4v4 here.
Squeezy!
That was crazy from Squeezy. Frost's probably going to stay down, so 4v3, 20 seconds, in Ohio's favor. Okay, Timmy eventually does go down, so it is a guaranteed 4v3. So playing the hatch, I don't know if Tukin's going to be able to walk unless he just kills the player backside. That works too. They have to be aware of the hatch though with 10 seconds left. Gets shot from deep in the hallway and Gridlock gets dropped as well. So Akek just has to kind of walk right into Wee's bullets. Yep.
Well.
Yeah,
if I were to point out 3 establishments of water, I would say well. Because that was just kind of like if it isn't the consequences of my actions. Marquette there, one of the interesting things that I noticed at the end was that Toucan still had both of his smoke grenades in pocket with 20 seconds left to go. If your plan is to go, the smokes that we saw were from, I believe, the Gridlock, and we also saw the Capitao smokes go out. And you still have 2 smokes in Thermite's pocket available too, but you don't have the player off the vertical inside of the little cubby inside of a master office. And with those 2 smokes left in pocket, you do have to kind of wonder how Marquette was planning to plant after the fact. You have a little more utility left for the round. with no Warden on board, there's not as much risk. I mean, of course, the risk is getting pre-fired through the smoke, but it's not as risky as playing into a Warden directly. So you do have to wonder in that round as well how much of that had gone down to Marquette not
10
using
seconds
all their
left.
utility, but that's just sometimes how Siege works. You forget you have utility
5
in your
seconds
pocket,
left.
you're playing in the moment, your brain is thinking, I need to frag out, and you don't really
Attackers are heading
get
out
around
to
to using
defuse
all
the
the
bomb.
utility in your pocket. But that is one crucial point that I'm scratching my head over on that one, because it did look like Marquette was rather well set up for some of that round. I don't know. It was a bit of a confusing one for me, really.
It's like they had space, but they didn't have that space. Like, so they had some, right? They had kind of the general like attacker space, right? You know, the parts of the map that they weren't fighting for, it's free. It's free real. You have to still clear with drones and whatnot for roamers. But they had a lot of space. The problem was with the, like, it was a dance party upstairs, right? So you either have to completely fight into that or fight sight. The problem was they chose to fight sight, but then every player from the top is either dropping onto sight to help out, which is an absolute bloodbath, or they stay above and they just kill you from above, which is exactly what happened. And you just can't get the plant down with that. Your Blitz dies because, you know, he doesn't have a protector on his head, unfortunately. To balance him, it would be funny. But there's not a lot you can do. Like, if they had more smokes, maybe, but I don't know. There's not a whole lot other than take more space and be willing to, like, make it a complete unlookable sight. Make it completely blind.
Squeezy adding to the kill count for this season opens up things for Ohio, as they have taken the advantage in terms of round count for the first time for the second time this game. They tied up at the end of the half that are now 1 point ahead of their opponents. Marquette will be 1 player down, and that's a Ying that you've also eliminated from the roster. Squeezy going 10-4, also finding arguably the most impactful operator in terms of attacking this bomb site. Of course, you do still have utility available, but when you think of operators that help with site executes, Ying is definitely on the top of the list there. I also did notice that Stitch got pointed out in basement there, but Toucan seems to have found a way into sight here. That smoke grenade doesn't go through. Squeezy does get a kill onto Akek, and Toucan is a little bit stuck here. Oh, no.
Wait, diffuser's down?
Yeah, Case went down. So Toucan was in a safe spot to plant there, but the problem now is that Squeezy might be on him for an ace here. No, never mind, I jinxed him. And that's everyone from Marquette dead. Okay, let's take a break. I'm not sure what happened.
It's the consequences of Sojourner Kai's actions.
Sure is.
Caster's curse. I mean, you know, I think that's expected to happen, but I was honestly just waiting. I was just waiting for somebody to go down. Like, he just drops them all, or they, like, aren't looking at him, and he just, like, walks into sight and kills 4. I respect the attempt. It's unlucky to lose your Ash to just the pits of hell. Those flames, I think, took away more health than him getting shot. Because it was a smoke canister, it was a flame, and then he eventually got shot in the back from, I think it was Connector.
Yes, or like back bar or whatever that's called there. I know it's like some are called connectors, some are, I think that's called back bar. I mean, people will know what we're talking about. Anyway, Marquette call a timeout because this is kind of do or die for them now. Because if Ohio win another round, they force the overtime, and obviously Marquette don't want that to happen. They had a good thing going when they were tied at the half, but now that Ohio have won 2 rounds, they are threatening to take this map away at a scoreline that you really don't want to see, especially at this point of the playoffs. A Jackal brought out too, so Jackal Blitz probably going to be a little bit more aggressive in the roam clear if I were to guess anything. And no operators in terms of like Thatcher being brought out here, despite there being a kite. That might change depending on how the droning from Marquette goes out here. But composition changes depending on what strategies they want to bring, and Marquette might see that they want to clear some of the roam a little bit more now.
Which I'm down. So I feel like one of the things that they probably realized, so they took, I think it was 2 comps in a row that leaned a little bit heavier into, like, if they have a Warden, we're screwed, which, you know, Ohio hasn't brought a Warden. It's been 3 rounds. They haven't brought a Warden. So maybe that's a pattern to, like, pick up on. but
10 seconds left
they kind of
before
brought a little
insertion.
bit like heavy utility. They kind of just didn't make use of it. So maybe playing a little bit more into like
5 seconds
rather than
left.
playing this crazy like bring a ton of flashes, bring a Ying, bring a Blitz, which they actually are bringing Blitz and Kappa. Maybe I stand correct. But yeah, maybe a slight change. I want to say this might have been the comp that they actually brought on the first round of the offense, or at least incredibly similar, if I remember correctly.
Similar. I don't think they had the Cali, but the Cali's here to remove a lot of that utility. The Lances to remove the kite charges, to remove mute jammers, and all sorts of other things. One thing that Cali also, I think, does really well is deal with castle barricades, something that we have seen brought by both teams rather frequently here, but not this time around. But regardless, it was swapped off the Jackal. Imp had been hovering the Jackal for a bit, and I think it was because they saw, oh, this is there's going to be a kite to deal with, and that's something that we have to remove, right? So it's more of a utility focus side here. Leaf swinging into dining smokes himself off inside a trophy so he doesn't get shot in the back quite as easily. A lot of standard clearing, really. Kind of interesting use of smoke.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? Just, I feel like watching your back, you have to push one with the face. So, doing the way that he was doing it, I actually don't hate it all that much. The only thing I hate is that he's doing it with the diffuser. I think we're much too, but that's a me thing. Though we might have Squeezy kind of on a pseudo. He sees the drone. But it's the gridlock utility. So, I don't exactly know what his plan here is. I know what Stitch's plan. He died. Him drops him with the Cali. So, I don't know. Maybe trying to flank. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, for the repel! That's huge! I don't actually know if they take him. Yeah, no, Blitz is just up. So that was the... Oh. Okay, so 3v3. Completely tied up. Hattie goes down to Timmy. Blitz is, I think, just in bathroom now. Really, really, really low. But alive, at least. But with the, I think, the Rooney Gates and possible Frostmat. Maybe even getting shocked by a K charge if he just happens to walk into it. And I don't love how low he is.
Especially when you're playing Blitz, that's an operator that your feet suddenly become a mess of Swiss cheese with how much holes are punched through them. Meanwhile, AKEK will become saint-like, holy, if you will. As Dupless swings out with the TCSG, but Imp is there with the trade back on the SPSM, so it's not all over for Marquette yet, and you do have the Blitz still up. This is a force to be reckoned with, something that will be getting changed in the Season 4 patch. Toes are trying to get shot out by Leaf, but it's not enough. Imp actually goes for the kill. Squeezy, 14 and 5. The star player for Ohio so far is in a 1v2 situation, but you're up against a Blitz. You're up against a Cali who can hold down the long angles. Imp losing about half of his HP, but the plant goes down. Leaf on 26, but no, that's a white swing. Squeezy goes for it, but Leaf is there for the retrade just in time.
Oh my gosh, that was close. I was like, why isn't he flashing? Why isn't he was on recharge? I was like panicking. I'm like, oh, you're just dead. Nope, I was wrong. That was a little close for comfort. I won't lie. I was honestly expecting Solus to get just dropped by the Cali, just one shot, just cooked. But you know, it was a lot closer than I expected it to.
I think what happened there, the reason why the Solus didn't get dropped immediately from Squeezy, or why the Solus of Squeezy didn't get dropped by the Cali, was because the Cali limbed the Solus through a wall. And so it doesn't deal enough damage to knock the Solus down. And so Squeezy is able to find a way to push through the rotate while the Cali is ducking back for the re-peek behind the half wall in Master Office. And so when they duck back for the re-peek, Leaf tries to blind from too far away. And then Squeezy is able to swing up for the kill because the Cali is holding an angle that's a little less desirable in that moment. Now, thankfully, Leaf does have the heads up available to go for the kill at the end of the round there. But, man, just like a slight cacophony of minor errors that you wouldn't really ever think about in the moment that really almost makes things go Squeezy's way, honestly. Like, if Squeezy kills the player on the floor and then swings for the headshot onto Leaf, or like Leaf mistimes ADSing with the pistol there, things could have gone so far south for Marquette. But instead, they'll bring it one round closer, and the timeout seemingly having a slight impact as they do finally get one back.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. So we are back to the first side of the which, again, I personally, I think I'm changing my thoughts a little bit on this site. I still prefer, you know, Blue Stairs Hold. I still prefer playing bar games. I think there's a little bit more to it. Like Library Stairs is crazy, but I like Kitchen. I think like both teams are playing it really well. I like the way that they're playing it. Obviously seeing less Clash. I like Clash a lot. I think she's you know, seeing like Haze and obviously incredibly strong operators, but you know, I still like seeing it every now and then. Right? Rooney, kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, seeing her play, you know, so much, and it's pretty funny.
I like the pace the Marquette has set here, by the way. They're getting these walls on mezzanine and on the dining side wall open pretty early into the round. I mean, the 2-minute mark really is ideal. So much space being taken up by them in Library, but Ohio is just more than willing to let them have it because they still have this double barricade by Stitch with an Aruni gate on Piano Door. So really the only way that they can pressure these players is going to be through both of those open walls that they've wasted utility on, and that becomes a little bit linear because now you have to worry about there still being a player upstairs. Sure, you've gotten the step necessary to open it, and I think, did I hear?
I see somebody on Library Stairs.
I think the thermite charge got denied on the dining walls. This might be problematic, actually, for Marquette now that their utility is gone. However, Stitch and Timmy are also gone, so it's a 5v3. You do have the capability to get into sight here, but a minute remaining. Well, less than that now.
I mean, Gridlock is on 5 HP, but I'm honestly, I'm probably just going to end up being the planter. Thermite taking a bit more damage. So, evening it out, almost. Okay, no, I take it back. It's 5v2. Hattie kills Sweezy, so it's up to Dupless and we on the site, trying to hold it down. 30 seconds. It's going to be a bit tough. Thermite's down. They're going to try to pick them up. Kills him on the stairs. Okay, that's a huge step toward, right? So, Akek's dead. Thermite is still bleeding out. Gridlock is like basically no HP, so if you balance it a little bit, it's honestly pretty even. And especially with like 20 seconds, right? Marquette is in a huge position. They just have to go. Like, I think they just have to leave. They have to leave Toucan to die and just blitz rush the site. Yup, I love this relief. Just taking the aggression, getting on a site. Teammate drops the hatch, but Wee's behind him and kills Gridlock on the trophy stairs. So it's just up to IQ, right? 1v2. We see on the flank. Hattie does kill Dupless. Hattie kills him. Speechless. What the heck? I mean, incredibly well played from Hattie. That was massive. Basically in a 1v2 and then just drops both, seemingly effortlessly.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of these rounds go really, really close to both of these teams. A difference of utility and positioning. Sure, Marquette wasn't able to get the dining wall open, but something that I really liked about that, about their play from that round was their adaptability. They don't get their primary utility down, and they don't get the player cleared off the roam. Okay, well, now they'll adapt. They'll try to make sure that the players can't come down Library Stairs. And when Ohio tries to retreat back to site, they have the Gridlock watching those Library Stairs. They have the Gridlock on the Trophy Stairs being able to rotate down. Even though they do get cut down by Wee, the point is that the rotate from the Gridlock going over by Solarium down the Trophy Stairs on that backside distracts the mute player long enough for Marquette to actually get the space that they need to plant in a safe relatively safe location inside a kitchen. It was still rather hairy. It did come down to the heroics of Hattie to be able to clean the round out. That's why they are the player to watch for Marquette throughout this season. And that's 17 kills, by the way. Am I tripping, or am I reading 11 on that? Because
I think
Hattie is... Okay, production says it's 11, but still 11 kills inside of 10 rounds. That is still that 1 kill per round average. Squeezy going a little bit higher than that for Ohio as well. But I mean, both teams having standout players, and they're the ones that we anticipated to do well in these rounds. And that's why I think a lot of these rounds have gone blow for blow so far, because of some of the heroics that we see. And it's very well exemplified in the end of that last round.
I mean, they've been like catastrophic for the enemy team, right? You leave them alive, you don't kill them early. They've been making like huge plays come out, right? So again, 5v5, right? 5-2-5. So the rounds are incredibly close. It kind of does come down to that. But I mean, in general, like I think it is sometimes a timing thing. But I think it's been really nice I've been liking the way that they're playing around the players. The adaptation from Marquette, I like seeing it a lot. Like mid-round adaptation from Marquette and kind of a more preemptive adaptation from Ohio. Like seeing kind of strengths on both sides is like I really like seeing that because it shows the strengths and weaknesses of each team. Being able to trade blow for blow in the way that they adapt to each other. And I mean, it's 5-5, so we could be going to overtime. I'm excited to see it. Ooh, and he does take some damage. Oh my, he takes some damage! He's dead! Squeezy, okay, Squeezy drops Leaf. Timmy does take some damage. That's the Blitz gone. That's
also
huge.
Case down.
That's Case?
That is Case. Leaf had Case in pocket.
Okay, 2K does get picked back up, but I mean, so, oh goodness gracious, that is, it's on the staircase. So they have to fight for the staircase. They have to make sure that there's nobody upstairs on any of the places. They have to fight for the stairs, get the diffuser, and clear out 3 to 5 players on site in 1 minute and 10 seconds with no blitz and a really low HP Ash. This is an uphill battle.
I don't know if you noticed it as well. Okay, Wee's head gets removed, so there's a 0 HP Tachanka on the side of Ohio. So things are even up, but I don't know if you noticed, Toucan ran into a frost map earlier. We do see that red icon, and he's not able to sprint for the rest of the round. We'll be making a lot of noise. We'll be on 20 HP. With weapons like the P10 Roni in Stitch's hand, Toucan will be falling immediately. And that pushes things slightly in the advantage of the defense. Plus, you have a smoke here with 1 canister left in pocket with 30 seconds remaining.
Oh my gosh.
Marquette might have to have an uphill battle, but it's going to be heroics from Hattie again, potentially, as Timmy goes down.
Marquette does pick up Stitch, though. Squeezy kills Hattie, so we trade out. So again, we have Squeezy, right? Squeezy's alive, Hattie is not alive, so maybe again we see a heroic play. Though to be fair, it is in favor of Ohio right now, right? 10 seconds, they have to push. They have a really low HP Ying, who I don't know if is actually on the site. Drops the hatch, gets dropped, so Squeezy's maybe going for 4. The Ying charges go out. Adkek just runs it down. 2 seconds left. 1 second. Squeezy picks up. Is that a 4K? Yeah. Holy Squeezy. That's impressive. He's making that up look like he's making that up look like an R4C, bro.
I mean, the ACOG is definitely helping. Squeezy has proven himself to be a dominant force for Ohio so far. I think, did we see it in an earlier round as well on bar in this exact same position on round number, what is that? Round number 8, Ohio playing on bar. 1v3 Squeezy. Squeezy nearly wins it out, but then runs out of bullets and has to go for the super shorty. Was that? Am I just like having deja vu to earlier round? Because that was a almost exact same situation that happened on defense for. Yeah, it was Marquette. Right, it was Marquette on defense, and then Ohio on defense. So both players having both teams having heroic moments from a castle sitting inside a back bar. But Squeezy on that round was successful.
Yeah, he just followed through. It was well played. Like the discipline, right? Playing around the reinforcement really well. Not really overcommitting boundaries. He knows that they just have to push, right? You have I think a smoke canister came out. Someone did I might be misremembering that, but like he's completely tucked in connector. They have to push. Low players. The Ying does get a flash out, but just gets immediately dropped as she drops the hatch. She was low HP too, so you don't exactly have a lot of options. And Squeezy is just playing that advantage. Almost perfect.
I have to keep an eye on where this case goes down as well, as I think a lot of what had swung the momentum in favor of Ohio was the fact that Marquette had dropped inside of the main window, inside of gaming, and lost the blitz with Case inside of that room.
No, it was on stairs. I think it was
stairs?
on the library stairs. Yeah, that's why I was
gosh.
like freaking out during the beginning. So the blitz was down, drops the diffuser there. So you're looking at it. You have to push somewhat of stairs. So the Ying had to basically run the stairs, grab it, run all the way back up to the hatch and drop it. So that's at least like a 10 or 15 second endeavor because you have to find desk, maybe longer, which is like that's just unlucky. Like that little bit of time honestly might have been the difference because maybe you get the Ying utility out and you actually make some space out. We are not seeing a Ying this time around. We are seeing Blitz. Again, we've been seeing a Blitz the entire half. I respect that because Ohio basically refuses to play Warden, and I think Marquette has picked up on that and will continue to play Blitz until Ohio makes them switch off.
Ohio does like a lot of this, what I would say a lot more stall-heavy comp. You stall out information with the mute. You stall out movement with the Castle and Aruni combination. And I think it's been working out for them. They are just a round ahead. If they win this one, they'll win the entire thing. But if Marquette can pull themselves into overtime here, I'm not really sure how things are going to pan out. Another thermite charge, but denied by the Kite. I think that there had been some impact EMPs from the Capitao that were mistimed. And so the second charge of the thermite goes out, but it's not able to succeed. Imp has a fantastic angle onto Dupless, and so does Akek on the Squeezy. The star player for Ohio knocked down by the Capitao. Imp is on 69 HP. Nice. But a 5v3 in favor of Marquette becomes a 5v2 in favor of Marquette, and they still have a blitz down up despite Akek going down.
That is insane. I look away for an instant, I blink, and we're down to it's a 5v2. Okay, it does get picked back up. This is rough for Ohio. I think it'll probably end up being, this is gonna be rough, right? So 30 seconds, you don't exactly have any stall, right? So you don't have like smoke, you don't have Tachanka, you don't exactly have like a clash or anything really. So it mostly comes down to can you get the shot? He cannot get the shots, in fact.
Reloading, cover me!
Okay, Timmy, you are now the man. You got this. I believe. Believe in the underdog. I got this. I think he's got this. I stand corrected. That is unlucky. I mean, I think it was just a good take from Marquette. Like, legit, it felt like good fundamentals, right? It was just good. Like, I couldn't really call out a whole bunch of standout stuff. Like, it felt like there was just so much clearing going on. I blink and there's 3 players dead. So maybe good shooting. Just some pretty solid taking, but that was okay. Well played from Marquette. They are on offense for OT, so I think because it went even, so they don't exactly have like a preferred side. Maybe they actually like offense, right? Because they had like a round or two go bad on offense, and then they took
and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Oh my gosh, this is a break. I forget my brain's but short break. They gathered up and then they just like, back.
I told you, this game turns your brain into soup. It happened to me earlier, and now I'm just vibing with the soup. The synapse soup, alright?
Timeout. Anyway. That's what I was looking for. I was like, what is this word? No, but they took a timeout, right? And so a break, yeah. After these messages, no, but took a timeout and then came back. So it was kind of the reverse, right? So Ohio kind of did the same thing. They lost some rounds on their offense,
5 seconds,
and then took a timeout, and then were winning. And then it was the reverse, right? Ohio was winning. Marquette took a timeout and then started winning their offense back. And so again, tied 3-3 on both halves, so 6-6. I actually am thinking Marquette might be leaning just a little bit further into this because they're on the side that they have more recently adapted to and might be able to carry that momentum into this round.
With the score being 6-6, it also means that the second half was dead even in terms of 3-3. It was both sides, attack and defense, won the exact same number of rounds, so really neither team pulling ahead in terms of the preferred side. So with overtime, sometimes you can be like, okay, well, they won 4-2 on defense, but then 2-4 on attack, and that kind of evens out to say that the map feels a little more defensively sided. But with it being dead even at the first half, dead even on the second half, it's really hard to tell what side each team prefers now. With this being a bar attack, Marquette did not win either of their attack attempts onto bar. So if they win it this time around, it'll be their first time winning it this game. But there's always potential, again, because of the way that things panned out for them. However, statistically, it doesn't quite favor Marquette in this favor, in this moment. Leaf, also taking about 30 HP worth of damage, does force Squeezy to sprint all the way down main stairs. This library stairs deployable shield has been fully abandoned, allowing Marquette to advance a little bit further with the Blitz leading the Helm and the Ying close behind. Wee has also been dropped down to 20 HP from the hatch. Has to be very careful in this back bar position.
Attackers recovered.
I'm curious the stairs, but I think Marquette has all of them upstairs, so it's a little odd. They have the Ying and the Blitz and the Captain.
Oh!
Dupless and Squeezy both get dropped. So you're down your smoke, you're down your castle, which that ACOG has been absolutely... Squeezy's been going crazy with it, so dropping him is, I think, huge. But I think I want to say it might be Timmy over here on the dining side.
Drop the diffuser.
Okay, I think somebody hit a frost mat, and then the blitz is on the site. 15 HP, 3 HP, dead. Dies to the... Leaf died to his own teammates, Capitao. Hattie picks up a kill on Timmy, so 2v2, 45 seconds. Maybe they can slow it down a little bit.
I don't know if you saw, but there was also a barbed wire kill in there, so we are 2-2. Some utility has been burned. In fact, all of the utility from the Capitao is out of AKEX pockets, all up to Hattie with these Bs in the final 30 seconds of this round. We, though, still holding this really powerful position. Oh my goodness, head nearly gets found there, but has the Tachanka firebolts, and that's going to be so much time denial. However, Hattie swings around and catches the player in back bar. AKEX is able to plant here and ends up Stitch, who's on full HP, but none left as Hattie finds his head.
I'm telling you, it was momentum. I think it's a momentum thing. This has been a very momentum-heavy match, right? Again, if you're losing on a side, you time out, it cuts the momentum of the enemy team, and then you adapt. We've seen that. We saw that, right? We saw that twice. But there's no other timeout, so Marquette is carrying that momentum from their offense half into another offensive round, and then it was close, very close, but I think Marquette was just slowly keeping ahead the entire round. I'm also getting worried. Squeezy did not get a kill that round. That is unlucky. Thank you, production.
That is also... Well, I mean, considering that Squeezy's at 19-9 inside of 13 rounds, statistical outlier of a round for the player, maybe Marquette finally understanding his play patterns, understanding where the player is sitting. In fact, I think he was the opening kill on those fireplace stairs after the player jumped into... That was, very chaotic, though. Player goes down to a frost mat, dies to barbed wire. Marquette gets a team kill with a Capitao firebolt, but they still win the round anyway because Hattie just says that I'm built different. Walks in there, absolutely bricks the defense of Ohio with Wee sitting on the corner of back bar. So some of these rounds have just been going in like such strange directions, Alex, that I have no idea how any of them are going to pan out, and I'm very thoroughly entertained so far.
I mean, I don't know if I think I started playing this game like maybe year 1, maybe year 2. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 players stacked on that lobby staircase ever. That is an enigma. I don't think I've ever seen it. I'm like,
right.
I was like, wait, what's happening? I like the idea, and obviously, Castle got killed. It's like unlucky for Squeezy. But legitimately, I was like, I'm down to see where this goes, and then he just gets dropped from the window, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're not gonna see. Squeezy is definitely not seeing anymore, unfortunately. I'm liking the library thing. So again, we've seen Kitchen so much. This is like the dominant side of the map, and so like both teams have like been defending it really well, been attacking it really well. I like this side a lot, specifically with these two teams, because it feels like such a tug of war that it's these small mistakes. It's these tiny things that just stack up over the course of an entire half, and it's been very entertaining to watch. I've been liking it a lot. I have my mind very changed around on Kitchen.
Kitchen has been played, including in this 14th round, 6 times. The other bomb sites have been chosen a combined total of 8 times. So Kitchen definitely preferred for both of these teams so far. I was saying at the start of the match that sometimes some teams, they don't like it, some teams they do like it, but it will often be a secondary or tertiary bomb site after Barn Gaming and maybe even Snowmobile. As I say that, though, Marquette starts things off rather well with Leaf claiming the first kill onto the Nomad. Timmy, 2K, the first one to fall. One of the, I think as well, if I haven't really been keeping track, but I do think that Timmy's been getting caught out as the first death for Ohio in a lot of these rounds, so it's unfortunate to see him go again. Thatcher grenades thrown out onto the dining wall, but a C4! Oh no.
Are we seeing a nitro cell? Yes, we are. Stitch gets dropped by a nitro cell. That's massive. That wall. Okay, so here's the thing with Ohio, right? Their offense is so reliant on that wall. Their pushes have been so close, but they need that wall open. So like, it not being a thermite is I mean, losing a player sucks, but it not being a thermite run-through wall is massive for Marquette. Like, that might be the decider here. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I could honestly see the fact that it being a jump hole and very tiny. That could be the difference, especially because Warden is just ratting in this corner. I love this angle.
I think as well with the thermite dying there, they weren't able to get the wall on the upper floor open either. But they had gone for that first floor, but
15
either way,
seconds to go.
it really makes puts a damper inside of their execute as Squeeze
pick from IUPY. The flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry. And now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down. We'll see one. Push when they got him pushed back.
Gets another one. Gets another one.
Oh, they're gonna.
Yeah. But it feels weird because like in an ace, I'm so fast. This game is so jacked fast to die.
Welcome back, friends, to the Midwest R6 playoffs. If you've just missed us, we just saw. By the way, I'm Sojourner Kai with a jacket this time, and I'm joined here by Arcade Pro Alex. If you've just missed the first map between Marquette and Ohio University Green Bobcats, that map went 8-6 on Chalet in favor of Marquette. A very, very close match, a brain-busting match, really, as we saw things just go absolutely haywire in a lot of the rounds, but overall, Marquette absolutely deserved their win in overtime. And we have some map stats to show for you, too.
Ooh, oh, I'm liking this. So again, we were expecting, I think it was Hattie the player to watch for Marquette or for Chalet. 17-7 on the side of Hattie, but Marquette having a little bit more of a widespread, like, kind of spreading that KD a little bit wider, playing with each other a lot. Keck with 7 assists. I'm a huge fan of assists personally. Playing, really spread out, and then obviously on the opposite side for Ohio, we have Squeezy dropping 21 and 10. That is a 2.1 KD, folks. That is absolutely insane. Unfortunate that his, team, it's a little bit more top heavy, but again, they played really well. Like, obviously, Squeezy, star player and doing all this stuff, but his team was backing him up the entire time. Ohio played incredibly well.
Yeah, that they did. But unfortunately, a 2.1 KD is not enough to bring the Bobcats over the finish line on top of Marquette here. But that's Chalet done and dusted. And we'll see how they line up on Clubhouses. We do have a player to watch now in terms of stats. It's going to be Leaf, who we saw pretty predominantly using the blitz on the attack with a 53.64 siege player rating. It looks like there's only been a couple of games played for Marquette on this map, but still some decent stats. A 45% survival rate is fairly decent across the board when you consider the role that Leaf has been playing on that entry, really. You saw him playing blitz pretty much exclusively on the attack inside of Chalet. And so having your blitz player who can survive 45% of rounds going into Clubhouse, I mean, that's pretty solid. 0.69 KPR, nice, but I think the rest of the stats that we have here for Leaf overall really does show his aptitude in this match, and I'm excited to see how things pan out for Marquette in this matchup against Ohio.
Yeah, Leaf, very much like playing for the team, right? So obviously, KPR, it's like, kind of whatever, but he's making space. He's being a nuisance. He is there. He's there. He is there, especially playing Blitz. I do maybe expect we see maybe like a Blitz Monty ban, or a ban of one of the two shields, because Leaf played it incredibly well. He was playing for his life a lot of the time. Even though he had a shield, like that survivability, I don't think is just from cheesing it with a shield, because legitimately it's still incredibly difficult, and he played it really well. 45% survival rating is nothing to scoff at, and it's impressive. Mad respect for Leaf.
It really is. And of course, we have wanted to get the ball rolling on some of these things. So are we ready to get into the match? I think we might have some of the players. Production said they were ready, but game starts in a couple minutes. So talking about Clubhouse, right? Comparing the difference between Clubhouse and Chalet, I think that Clubhouse has the capability of being a little bit more almost claustrophobic in some ways. So when I think of Chalet, I think of Chimney and Fireplace, and even Library having a lot more open spaces than what you would typically on Clubhouse. Oh, hey, we are jumping into the match. Let's go. Sweet. I was worried I was going to have to filibuster for that timer on the bottom right, but Clubhouse a little bit more claustrophobic in some of its spaces because of how tight some of the obstacles can be. So it'll be interesting to see how both of the teams adapt here. Maverick being the map-specific ban. Flores was the one attached to Chalet. The Maverick will be taken away from Clubhouse. A pretty common ban, actually, I would say, on this map. But
yeah, and I think it was Marquette who, I correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Marquette who ended up banning the Monty last time, so maybe we see it again. See it, Damo. So both shields are online. Blitz and Monty are online, so Leaf's probably a little bit happy for the Blitz, though he may not see as much play. I feel like it kind of depends on how they want to play that, but I don't know if it's completely necessary for a Blitz. K being banned, I'm not against it, especially with the Maverick ban.
You see the Maverick ban, you definitely want to get the Cade ban, because trying to remove those Electro Claws is kind of irritating when you don't have the operator capable, or you have to bring an operator specifically dedicated to that piece of utility. Mira is going to be the last one banned, not allowed to participate on either of these matches. I was hoping for a split second that we would be able to see 4 unique operator bans for this game as well, but Mira will be the one repeat from last match, and it makes total sense, right? Mira gives you a lot of intel, a lot of information on a lot of these sites, and becomes quite a nuisance to be able to push in. Bedroom Gym as well, taken as the first bomb site for both these teams. And the Castle Lamai combination coming out yet again.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I do agree that I was hoping to see some unique operator bans, but ever since Mira's release, she has been such a force to be reckoned with, especially on Clubhouse. This is a map where I feel like if you don't ban Mira, you're gonna have to. It is so difficult sometimes to clear Mira out. Like, obviously, she's become easier to deal with, but even then, she's so right. Even just for information, and they're forced to deal with it, so you force some utility onto it, and Mira's a pain. Just cut and dry, she is an absolute nuisance, and I hate seeing her banned, but I understand why.
There's so much. I'm just thinking of all the different setups you can have with a Mira, and especially on the basement bomb site. Clubhouse in and of itself has a lot of every bomb site aside from stock and bar, or stage and bar, and even in stage and bar has been taken by some teams on an off chance. Or you usually have a pretty solid rotation of 3 bomb sites for this map, and Mira unilaterally covers all of them, but she's not in this map, so we don't have to worry about talking about her too much anymore. Castle barricades as well, taking a lot of space in terms of blocking off these gym and win. I wonder why that was the decision made there. I think that the Hibana charges might have been destroyed by AKEC there, because they don't want to open a second angle for the teams to attack them onto. Really great use by EMP Nia too, but it still gets caught.
It still got caught, yeah. So I'm really liking this, by the way. Marquette is bringing 3 hard breachers. You have no Maverick, and you're just bringing everything else that you can. I'm kind of down for it. I like seeing that much hard breach, especially with how many walls kind of need to be open to this map. Like, you have to get them open, right? If you do not get like that wall open from balcony, you're screwed. You have to get it open from hot tub, and Kind of the same for cash side, not as much, but I think the cash wall is still a really important wall to try to go, especially if they're playing inside of it. You know, we saw Frost at the top of red stairs. We're seeing Bandit, you know, hold down office here. You have to be able to get some more horizontal control because you don't have better to play with as much. It's not nearly as good on this as it is on basically everything.
Marquette slowly constricting their control around the map. A lot of the checklist items done in terms of opening up the site. I really did like the play that they made to open up the castle barricades to get the bandit batteries, the shots from Dupless.
Squeezy gets dropped by Imp. Okay, so Trade's coming out. The Habana's dead. Castle's dead. Plant's going down from Toucan. From the window, Akek kills Stitch. So it looks like Frost is retaking, or I guess taking cash control, period. The bandit is down. I don't exactly, this is going to be really tough for them to try to take it. Do you see his hand? Maybe he can't reach the diffuser. It's just barely out of reach. The Claymore kills Timmy. Wee's just alone. I think he's trying to long arm the diffuse. He's going to get shot in the hand. Yeah. That was really well played from Marquette. That's a really cool plant spot. I mean, it feels like safe enough. And the fact you can just shoot his hand, it's just... Whew.
The plant spot is, I mean, really thanks to the 3-2-1 go coordination that Marquette has on that attack. Leaf as the Hibana drops into the Longy hatch and catches the bandit, but at the same time, the Capitao bolt goes to catch out the rotate. So even if there's a player there, he does eventually go down to the flames and is able to re-peek towards the master bedroom side. Now, I wasn't sure if I had seen it correctly or not, but after Akek had shot out the Hibana pellets on the bedroom window, the window I don't think ever got opened up, so that was actually one less angle for Ohio to be able to jump out on them. And
a little bit later, I think.
Oh, it got opened later. Okay,
I think it did, because I think I heard some shots coming from that window. But using that as kind of like we're using it as a post plant rather than a we're taking site, so it cuts off those angles that they have to deal with. But then they have so much space to work with from the balcony.
Right, and the Claymore also getting a kill on the player who jumped out of construction was a pretty massive boon to their attack as well.
So for the first time, this week we're seeing Fenrir, we're seeing Valkyrie, we're seeing Flores, we're seeing like a whole bunch of. It's just completely different from what we saw in Chalet, which makes a lot of sense. I feel like Chalet, maybe there's a little bit more restriction on your operators. I feel like with Clubhouse, there's so many things you can do with this map. Like, it feels incredible. Like, obviously Valkyrie, you know, very standard, but still very strong. I'm not a Fenrir fan, but I do like seeing, you know, different operators being played.
The only real, I mean, we did see some Fuse being taken out on attack by Ohio, I believe. I don't know how much we actually saw of it from Marquette on Chalet, if at all. Patty bringing the Capitao, but I think you're right, it is the only operator that has remained common on this attack for Marquette so far. And Leaf on the shield operator, taking so much space inside of Blue and Generator. Now it's just a matter of trying to close down these locations, get these players knocked down. Squeezy on very low HP, Dupless on low HP.
That's
but
huge.
Akek's dead though. And so is the Blitz, or the Monty.
Okay, so trades go out. Marquette is lower on players, but Ohio, the health's about even out. That is so unlucky. They had full tunnel control, and he whiffs his shots. That is so unlucky for Akek. If he kills, I think it was the Valkyrie. If he kills that Valkyrie, the entire round shifts. But without that, they're going to use the Flores to try to open up the wall, get some access to Church. I like this from Toucan, just trying to get in, make some space happen. You kind of have to, with the way that it is, like Ohio defense, right? They have player advantage. They do have a minute and a half. So much space control. The swing out from Wee from the hallway.
Yeah, things go from bad to worse for Marquette as they only have 2 players. Make that 1. It's Imp who is the lone ranger inside of Dirt. A wide swing from, or sorry, it's not Imp and Dirt, it's Timmy and Dirt. Imp is the one who eventually dies inside of Armory as they peek in through Blue and Generator, trying to get the case, but the bags are here. No. Ohio is, I think Ohio is, they're frustrated and they're out for blood, really. So that'll be a round draw after Marquette's attack had gone a little haywire. I mean, they threw a bunch of smokes in, right? They threw in the yings. They had all of the hallmarks of wanting to aggress on the side as soon as possible and knock down players. There was a lot of time left on the clock compared to other rounds that we've seen, especially from Ohio's attacks, which were a little bit slower on Chalet. And when the dust settles, Ohio has stood their ground solidly. They understand Marquette's game and pull one round back for themselves in a much more confident fashion than we've seen either of these teams win some rounds in Chalet. I mean, like Chalet, we had some very, very close things go, but Ohio, I know they look good for that round. I think that was a well played defensively from them.
Yeah, I agree. It was incredibly well played. Like they played their advantage really well. It's a bit unlucky. Like I do think if Akek gets that kill from dirt, you're looking at having dirt control,
10 seconds
a
remaining.
player down on the side of Ohio, and you're getting a pinch with a Monty that's huge. Right, missing those shots costs
5 seconds
I
left
legit
before
and like I hate putting the blame on one player. It's just unfortunate, right? It's one of those things where you
Attackers
happen
are
to miss the
moving out
shots
to
in the heat
locate
of
a
the
bomb
moment.
and defuse it.
The round goes haywire. You end up losing. It is what it is. But I legitimately I think Marquette can just bring it back. Some simple mistakes. I like the Jackal. Maybe playing the player a little bit more on the roam. I'm not entirely sure because I think obviously for basement, Ohio was playing a little bit more, hunker down. With topside, you have to play a little bit more wide. But I guess they need more time to really hit that main wall. So if they can just send a Jackal in, clear out the rest of the map, like clear out the entire master side of the map. If you clear it out really quick, it's gonna be nice because you can spend all that time getting the wall.
Ape is trying to find the past here, but
it is.
Mozzie seeing a little bit of a resurgence recently, and that's entirely because of a buff that was made to the operator. There were two things that were changed, actually. First one, Mozzie now has impact nades. Second one, Mozzie now has one more pest in his pest launcher, which does make a little bit of difference, actually, in terms of being able to deny impact. And we even see it not cut down, but stop a drone dead in its tracks. Squeezy stopping Hattie dead in his tracks. Again, these two top players from both sides. A wide swing from Imp inside a lounge, but Stitch will get out with his life. Facing down Monty. Might have to go for oil pit. Gets down. He's actually downstairs. He's out of there. For now.
Okay, maybe Imp cuts him off though. Top red. Okay, so with Imp, he basically has to go clear this Mozzie out, but I think Mozzie's running towards the main stairs. Okay, so we're looking at 4v4. Mozzie's really on the side of Marquette. Ohio's a lot of players that can leave it up. But you're a minute and a half, there's still some armors going on. Akek is lower garage trying to fight the, I think that's an Azami. Yep, Azami up on the rafters. Kind of a tough fight. There's a Monty standing at the door, kind of pinging where you're at, so it's a little bit difficult, but I think Akek might actually be able to kill the Azami. It lines up perfectly. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot from Marquette. Kind of in opposition with the Mozzie trying to flank, but no, they're just running it down, and it's a bit rough for Ohio, right? They're trying to refight back on rafters, but Marquette just has complete garage control right now.
And that's all thanks to the Monty. I mean, you are bringing out the Azami, which surprisingly wasn't banned on Clubhouse. But if you're not banning the Monty, I guess Azami doesn't matter really all that much, unless you're bringing something in the way of, I don't know, a lesion to prevent a shield from aggressing onto that position. Whatever the case, Leaf making great use out of the fact that they do have access to the shield operator. We does cut down Imp, though, and that does make things a little bit more awkward as we're in the last 30 seconds here. Rotate also denied from Leaf, so can't jump through the window with these smoke grenades going down. There's still barbed wire on top of these red stairs, so Marquette has to make an attack.
Yeah, there's
the
smoke from Wee. I was looking at him like he's a smoking pocket, right? So 10 seconds, we're looking at about 5 seconds. That smoke's gonna go down. Trying to run up the stairs. Pocket gets dropped. Wee gets refragged on two. Toucan drops one, so it's just Dupless left. Leaf has to try to either get a stick down or Toucan has to get a kill. They can't get the diffuser down.
And I think the reason he can't get diffuser down is because he hits a Legion mine on top red stairs.
Oh, Legion. I hate Legion. I love Legion, but oh no.
It's like one of those operators that you love to play because you're like, yes, I'm being so impactful by annoying the opponents from a distance, but you run into him and you're just like, this guy's putting staples into my ankles. Make him stop, please.
It's like, why is he playing Legion? That's my job.
I'm supposed to be the annoying one here.
Exactly. I mean, it's a good play, right? I like the stall utility, right? I think we're probably gonna see more stall utility in this map, especially because with Chalet, like the sites feel a little bit more enclosed. I think. Yeah, it feels like you can't exactly like just take a wall and immediately run it from outside, except for garage, I think. But with this
like
map,
I said, claustrophobic. It feels a lot more closed in than Chalet does, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, well, it's a little bit of both, right? So like the walls themselves, right? If you get hot tub wall, and then you happen to open the door into the weight room, or for Cash CC, if you get that
10
massive
seconds
wall
left
open,
before
you might just be
insertion.
able to stay plant. And so like,
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I like the slow utility. I think it's nice to be able to kind of
Attackers
a little bit more.
locate a bomb and
Yeah, obviously with Chalet, like corridors is a little bit more claustrophobic, then that utility maybe gets a little bit more. But especially with this map, like there's also so much distance. So stalling for that little bit of time we saw was huge. That Monkey just couldn't push up, and they had like 5 seconds. They just had to run up through the smoke and pray to their god.
Interestingly enough, this is one of the few times that I've seen an Ella being brought, and I think it's exactly for that reason you're mentioning, Alex. She's a good stall utility. She has those concussion mines that are basically like prox mines, but have a bit more immediate impact, I should say. You know that somebody's pushing through a door, and they're vulnerable because they can't hear you and can't really see you all that well either. You do have one of these castle barricades open, so you are able to do the same thing that we saw in that first round, which is open up the second castle barricade and then eventually get the bandit batteries off the wall. So again, Marquette doing the homework necessary to open this wall again. So maybe a good attack from them, yet again, depending on how the execution goes. But again, that does depend on how the execution goes. And I think that with a Castle, with a Frost, and with an Ella, you do have the capability to slow the round down and catch players off guard in such a way that they're not able to really get into good refragging positions. And all that Ohio really has to do now is sit and wait.
Yeah, I think I see Squeezy below, which like I don't think I spot him with a drone. They do. Leaf does manage to get a pick on a duplis. That's huge. I mean, like, you're losing a nitro cell. I think he might have been on nitros. But I am seeing Squeezy below. I think he's just playing below the hatch. I don't think the drone spotted him when they were trying to clear him. They were droning below. They droned stairs, but they didn't actually see Squeezy. He might just be able to, like, hold the window down. I don't think they know that he's here. It's a bit rough, like, obviously. Oh, there's Thermite. There's Squeezy. They didn't know he was here. That's huge. Right? Timmy gets Akek. So they can't push bathroom. They can't really take a lot of weight room space. I think I see one on the cash side. One is walking into A. He's trying to take the space, and he managed to kill Wee. Patty gets one. Leaf gets another. 3v2 in the favor of Marquette. 40 seconds left. They seem to have most of the site, but they don't exactly have a way to get the plant down because Squeezy's just basically like a goo mine in their foot. He's an absolute pain.
Marquette also, with Toucan dropping case inside a Jin there, Marquette has to still go back and grab the case and clear the player that's playing downstairs. Stitch takes an ill-advised peek, and it's a 1v1 situation. Squeezy, the star player from map number 1, who was 1-3 at the start of this round, now re-evens up the KD. Here's the player go to his left. The case has been grabbed. A flashbang goes out, and Leaf has to go for the play here, but Squeezy peeks it from the gym door. Time is not the ally of Marquette in these situations. Squeezy making it a 4K hero play for Ohio as they pull ahead 3-1 or 3-2. I don't know, 3-1, yes.
Yeah, 3-1, yes. It's kind of insane, right? It feels like it's just Castle. Like, I feel like if you just put Squeezy on Castle, give him an ACOG, let him just kind of do his thing. He's been pulling it out. Like, I swear, like that UMP plus that ACOG, he's been making clip after clip because he's had a couple 3Ks, right? So we saw him like bar gaming. We had him just like get the clutch for here. He ran on the time a little bit. Obviously, it's unlucky that he didn't see the player cross back, but no time left. I mean, just stick to the fuser. He can just, casually walk out and shoot the guy while he's planting.
I messed up the score line there because I write the number of the site next to my round counts to save space on my notepad, and so I wrote 2 Jim and read it as 3-2. So that's where that came from. Anyway, 3-1 for Ohio, 3 rounds in a row, holding steadfastly on Clubhouse defense, which is what you expect from Clubhouse. Clubhouse has historically always been a more defender-sided map. And Ohio,
5 seconds left before insertion.
we say that things are more defender-sided maps, but it's also important for teams to show that is a more defender-sided map. And the fact that Ohio actually has a round advantage here at the moment does prove to me that they understand how to play it, which is good for them. Like, they absolutely...
They're playing it in behind the dirt wall. Because okay, so last time when Marquette was attacking this, right, they sent a player in through dirt. They almost lost the round just off of I think it was Akek on Fuse, right? So instead they're playing more heavy to hold down dirt. Because when they held dirt, they had dirt control. They just couldn't walk on, which I like. Squeezy does manage to get a pick on Leaf. I think that was exactly what they were looking for. Obviously, it wasn't the same player. It was a buck instead. But that's massive, right? Marquette needs clearing, but that pick from Squeezy is going to give them something to work with because they don't have a buck to open up the floor as much. And they don't have any breach charges either, so they're basically relying on Imp's shorty, or the shotgun. That's rough.
They're aware this player is sitting outside of billiards because of the jackal scans. If a player has been nearby a location recently, their footprints will show up as red in the jackal scan, and so that's probably the information that Imp had been playing off of. But Squeezy's already back inside of sight. God is 1 on the round and is now 6-3. At the start of last round, he was 1-3, so has finally started to hit his stride, and that can be extremely dangerous for Marquette. Holding down a lot of the pressure inside of Generator here, too. Something for Marquette to look out for, and might even make a rotate outside of Oil Pit because there's nobody in Garage right now.
I kind of like this. I think, like, so, okay, so play more aggressive, right? You're looking at 110. It's kind of what they've been trying to do. Like, it feels like both teams, right? If they're playing a little bit slower, they're playing more methodical, right? If you throw in a roamer at just the right time, Toucan drops Stitch. So, again, there's fewer players on site, so if Squeezy doesn't, like, speed up just a little bit, he might have a little bit of trouble here. But if he manages to, even if he just takes, like, a couple shots and runs, they have to either clear him or keep pushing, and it's rough. Hattie hits a gorgeous shot on the Wii. So Squeezy definitely has to get back to the side basically as soon as possible. And I think I do see him. Yeah, he is inside of him. We get some shots on the main. And we do see the Grim tagging him though. So they have hatch open, 35 seconds. We do see a run in from Hattie. I'm like the Fenrir. Oh, that's feels like he's playing against. There's a guy in blue though, so he kind of has to walk in and pray a little bit. He can't see Squeezy. Squeezy gets a pick on the Akek. 25 seconds. In favor of Ohio, and Diffuser's down.
Case is down on the ground, 45 seconds. Well, and that number is passed. Squeezy, who had been inside of blue, has been found by Toucan, who actually makes it a double onto Dupless. Timmy H2K with 1, and we'll have to find 2 more and defuse the case. Hattie is on 44 HP, but it doesn't matter. The 5.52 from range, sitting inside of Moto, catches the last player down, and that'll be an attacking round win for Marquette. After they were able to get the player, I think it was who was playing the Jaeger on Church Wall there. That was their sort of go-ahead line to be able to open up the wall and make their push into sight. Despite the Fenrir Mines getting all of, well, blinding the sights of Marquette, they do pull that round back off of making a very good split-second decisions to get the plant down to open up the wall and force their way in. Oh, and Timmy 2K's left.
Defenders protect
oh no.
your bombs from being
So
defused by
there was one thing that I kind of noticed. It's kind of just an unlucky pre-fire at the end too. If there was anybody on that Moto door, like on the side that he was pre-firing, I legitimately it could have gone Ohio's way. But an unfortunate pre-fire and just kind of like kept holding it and then just couldn't see the guy holding from the hallway. It's a really unlucky angle to peek. It's one of those that you just kind of have to take the 50-50, and I think it's more likely that they're playing inside Moto, just with how many angles and the ability to swing that door and play a little wider.
Yeah, and interestingly, having the Jaeger play on the church wall, we do have a little bit of a rehost going on just because we did see Team 2K. It looks like it was a crash or some other technical problem that went on there. But to keep you all caught up in case you were just catching the stream now, it is 3-2 advantage on the second map of Clubhouse towards Ohio Green. They have lost the first map, though, 8-6 to their opponents, Marquette. And as we've seen so far from Clubhouse, a lot of these rounds have been going either pretty close or they've been confident wins for Ohio. I wouldn't say that so Ohio is being the roundup. The rounds that they have won have felt confident. They haven't felt like complete blowouts overall because both these teams are going blow for blow on a lot of them, but they do feel like the team that has been in more control, especially because they're playing on the favor side on Clubhouse thus far. That being said, Marquette if they win this next round, I do wonder how that sets up their defensive half. Because maybe if with Clubhouse being a more defender-sided map, if they're able to actually take the advantage or to even up a half on the less advantaged side, I wonder what that means for them on defense. But only time will tell as soon as we can get back into the game, of course.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's a distinct possibility, right? So if we take a look back at Chalet, the way that both teams were playing, right, with a timeout and kind of with any break, just the ability to talk to each other, figure out what's going on, we immediately saw the half kind of flip in that favor, and we're looking at 3-1 currently, if I remember correctly. And with Marquette being down, I think they're going to try to make those adaptations. I'm not entirely sure exactly what's kind of going wrong. Maybe it's just more like pressure onto the site. Sometimes it's just kind of getting down to the wire, and then Ohio is just kind of like taking that a little bit back. So if they maybe speed it up a little bit, take more aggressive space. I mean, you have a blitz and a Monty available, so maybe just picking a side of the map and just going could be an option.
It could be. I do wonder if you're playing Blitz and Monty, though, you might not have as many guns up. And Clubhouse is a map that can be a little bit more friendly towards operators with larger scopes. So you can have a lot of those long angles to work with as well. So, yeah, like a difference in strategies might go a long way, but also Leaf seems to be the dedicated shield player so far. And forcing another player onto a shield while you take a gun off of the map, and at a certain point, you have to wonder how worth it is it for Marquette to take a second shield on attack, because they have been an attacking team so far, versus what they've been doing, which is just, we're going to throw all the hard breach at it. We're just going to get all of the impact EMP nades and make sure that we still get our checklist of things done before we get into the site itself, right? On these gym attacks we've seen, or something that I've noticed, is their method for attacking is that they open up the castle windows with 2 Hibana charges, then you open up the one that's in back of gym, and then you shoot the bandit charges and open up the wall with thermite. It's what's happened both times that they've attacked gym, and it's worked out pretty well for them, because on the first time that they attacked gym, they won on attack. On the second time that they attacked gym, they drew pretty close, actually. It was a 1v1, actually, that Squeezy won at the death of the round when the plant was going down inside of Master Bedroom. So clearly something is working for Marquette, and it makes a lot of sense with it being their map pick as well. That being said, you have to wonder how much that knowledge of attack also translates back into defense now, right? Like, does Marquette understand how the defensive side works? Are they going to be able to post up against what Ohio has to offer when Ohio has not shown themselves wanting to play shields? Maybe Ohio is just more confident in their gunning ability. Who's to tell, really?
Yeah, I don't exactly, like, I can't exactly have a read on it, honestly. It's been kind of like, other than, set operator lineups for certain sites, then obviously the attack shifting a little bit, depending on what they're playing, it's been kind of up in the air. We've been seeing a lot of it. We've seen, just in like one round alone, I think we saw like a Fenrir. I want to say there might have been a Solus. Like, there was an insane amount of like, weird operators to see. And I do kind of agree. I think 2 shields is probably too many. I do think at least having a shield and kind of playing off of it might still be the play, though. Just with the Monty, Leaf has been going really well with the Monty. He's been making a lot of value with it. He's been able to take space, put pressure. Maybe using him a little bit more, like maybe even aggressively, to take some of that space that maybe they haven't been able to take as easily with other operators and other players. It could be the play. We saw a little bit of cell utility for CCTV cache, but I don't think we've seen a whole lot of, other than like I think Fenrir, we haven't seen as much cell utility as they might need to fully stop a Monty from happening.
Yeah, that all comes down to how likely they are to bring it, and I would say that Marquette is very likely. And we are back in the match, so that is round number 6. I think that if Marquette also goes down 4-2, that is what you typically expect from a quote defender-sided map. On paper, it's defender-sided map. Again, Rainbow Six isn't played on paper; it's played in the server. And if Marquette ties things here with it being their map pick, I do pick them as maybe the favorites to win this 2-0. But of course, we all like seeing a competitive game of Siege. We like seeing things go the distance. And I think that Ohio has proven themselves to be rather competitive in both of these maps so far. It's just a matter of closing out map 2. Otherwise, they're losing this best of 3 in the round of 16.
Yeah, so obviously, being down 3-2, like you were saying, it's not honestly that bad for what it is. I obviously am a little bit afraid. So this is again the one side I was mentioning, where there's a lot more stall utility. So the smoke, the lesion, pain in my foot, with obviously the zombies, just being able to like stall as much as they can. It feels like they're really good at being able to hold down space. Right? Like a lot of their defense feels like they just want to hold their space. But when they do lose it, it gets kind of 50-50 in the sense of it's very scrappy. Like obviously we've seen rounds kind of go both ways, right? Sometimes Marquette was just able to stick it and get it out when it took it really convincingly, but then we had like the other 1v1 and Marquette just barely lost it. But when they have their space, they have their players playing in their designated positions, pulling it down, just solid utility, and then just anchoring. It feels like Ohio is really, really good.
The new animation of the shields breaking down the barricades just looks so aggressive and goofy to me. It's like, I am taking the space immediately.
Just like peels it gently. I'm gonna replace this later.
Yeah. Football charging in there. It's like all your shield players are now linebackers.
I mean, Monty is, it's Montaigne, French for the mountain, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, just kind of shoving his way into a doorway. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It is funny though. I really like that.
Just feels so much more aggressive. Ace also getting some value on the main wall here, I believe, has been opened up. As Leaf now rotates into Garage to deal with the next player on the list. The next player on the hit list, of course, being the Azami, who has quite a nasty angle. You can see that Kiba barrier has been put onto that little, I don't know, like storage location. Either way, there's a Capitan who's down below this Azami. Azami will have to run out, gets burned alive. Zofia nades go out. There's not a whole lot of utility left to deny these projectiles, but despite it all, stays alive for a little longer than I expected. As Squeezy eventually dying to Toucan, who's on the rappel for main wall. So an opening kill from Marquette, but it comes at the cost of a lot of utility.
I mean, that was a Grimbees. It was 2 Capital fires. Obviously, Monty able to walk up. They might. I don't know if they used any Zofia utility. I don't think
they did. They used Zofia impact or concussion nade to knock the Azami out of there too.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a complete util dump, right? Which you use all that for one player, but with how much utility like they have a Lamai, they have a smoke and a lesion. You're probably gonna need to speed it up a little bit, and it's gonna be tough because you don't have as much utility to make that happen.
It's like fighting World War III out here.
Hey, at least it isn't like the 4 Goyo shield meta from way back. I still have like PTSD.
Oh my gosh. Like the 20-second meta. Anyway, Pokeball goes out. Leaf has been claimed. The swing from Lounge does not go Timmy's way either. Hattie is good for one more as Plant goes down from AKEC. Even though Wee is holding down these red stairs, none of the smoke nades go out and gets timed. Hattie on 2 for the round. Case has been planted in CCTV, and Marquette looked very well set to get a 3-3 half for themselves now.
It's going to be a bit rough, right? So Duplis is on. Stitch ends up walking up the stairs, and I think it's planted right around the bomb. So verticality, like, I think the Zofia maybe even go for an impact from below. I don't think she's the one. Yeah, she's not the one playing onside. That's like Capital with utility, so just playing as a body. Swinging, trying to keep the Bandit off. Bandit ends up getting downed. Lamai is alone in trying to red, maybe swing the breach, but with 10 seconds, there's just no time. And I respect the attempt, but Marquis just very confidently taking that round, tying it up for the half.
The utility dump early for Squeezy was absolutely worth it. Of course, you have a lot of those Kiba barriers to worry about, but as soon as Marquette gets all of their players in position and has the Monty to run that player down, it doesn't matter if you have Lesion Mines, Kiba barriers, barbed wire, and everything available for you. If you have 3 players that are dedicated to the one operator sitting on the top floor there, and it looks like we didn't put bans in for this match, so maybe I don't know what will happen, but I guess like we know the operators that aren't allowed to be picked, so maybe there will be like a game of honor here.
Squeezy mentioned it in the chat just now, so I just kind of making sure that everything's like, good for that. Yeah, I that, trying to play it as honor. I agree.
Taking out my slide rule to make sure that there aren't any tides on the map. Yes, well, it seems like that is a sentry, and not any of those other operators. Sentry, not the pick that I typically see actually on defense. You do see
10
Striker
seconds to
on
go.
attack more frequently, but Sentry on defense is an interesting pick for Marquette, but
5
I
seconds
like
left
it. You have the
before
pocket shot, and you have a lot of utility with this operator.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
I'm not entirely sure, but I kind of like the way playing a little bit less, like, you know, on-site utility, like the team play. It might be a bit more like, no, maybe not exactly an SSG style roam, but maybe a little bit reminiscent of that, especially, you know, Vision playing upstairs. I could totally see this working.
All right, Grandpa, let's get you to bed. SSG roam. We're talking like it's still 2019 when Bosco and Fultz and
hey, man, you know, old, you know, Comp Siege. My heyday when I enjoyed it was, you know, way back when.
Back in my day, Canadian was playing Siege. Oh wait, he still is. Never mind. That guy's been playing since the Vietnam War. Anyway, Timmy HTK fighting ghosts.
The Boss G! I love the Boss G. I've always been a fan, and the fact that it is like, I love it being a legit weapon. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit like, again, not exactly an SSG roam, but it feels like that roam has just been around for so long. I mean, it's just kind of a standard roam at this point.
Bomb has been located.
It will forever be known to me as the SSG roam.
Yeah, they made it iconic in the year of 2019, 2020. No reference to the former SSG player Iconic himself, but the point is, we're watching Midwest R6, and we're watching Akek get slammed by Squeezy as he evens out the man count, but not for very long. 2can good for another leaf to knock out the third player for Ohio, as their players have been dwindled down to only 2 with half the rounds still remaining. Now, it is your Hibana and Thatcher, which is good utility to be able to open up a little bit more lines of sight and clear out some of what the defenders might have available to themselves, but you can't deny that this is looking very grim for them so far.
I mean, I do like that. So Toucan is out of smokes, and I think maybe it's 1 or 2 more goo mines from Leaf probably. So they don't have as much like stall utility, so a lot of this is going to be down to gunfights. Unfortunately, we get caught out by an off-ish angle from M, and that's just the lucky, right? Habana on the side, and the no-scope!
Okay.
In any game, in any situation, I see a no-scope. He waited for that. He looked at it, he like peeked at his feet, like he flicked back. I think he saw the drone, and it registered like a millisecond faster, so he flicks down and is like, oh, that's a player, and then flicks back up and just deletes him. Wow, that was in a hot...
Wanted to make sure that he saw the whites in his eyes. Like, he was waiting for that to line up for him, and it works out. Marquette make a pretty solid statement on their first offensive round, which Ohio doesn't like. And it might feel like it's a bit early to be calling a timeout. Like, you're only 1 round down. Big deal. It's not match point. It's not the precursor to that all-important 6th round. But I think Ohio in that round saw that they lost a lot of their players on the attack before the round was halfway done, which means that they hadn't done their homework necessary to actually clear the players out with droning. And they get punished for it, and they know that that's something that they need to fix. And so that's probably what that timeout is talking about. They want to change the utility around, and they want to make sure that they're more secure going forward, really.
Yeah, and I'm liking for Marquette. We're seeing the Sentry again. I think this is going to be a stakeholder defense. I'm so down to see it. I really love Sentry. Like, obviously, you know, unique utility, but I feel like some of the utility, just the base primary, like gadgets, it's so powerful. It's always like, I like it personally a lot. Very strong utility. I like them making use of it. We saw a little bit more roam heavy. I think they're doing kind of a similar like extension. I think we're going to see a lot of extension from Marquette, kind of playing wider, really holding down that space. As for Ohio, it felt like they didn't exactly have like a ton of utility.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Clear out all that utility, so we didn't see a Jackal.
5 seconds left.
Lion. We didn't really see any of that. So maybe they're willing to play a little bit more room heavy.
Attackers must locate
a ton
and
of
defuse the bomb.
just completely deny Ohio.
Loading mag.
I think one of the reasons why we're also seeing Sentry picked as an operator overall from Marquette, I do like the pick. It is a little bit off meta, but if you really think, well, maybe not even off meta, maybe it is meta and they're ahead of it. But point is that Sentry being picked makes me think of the times where people would pick operators because of their secondary utility. Warden, for example, with a 1.5 scope and a deployable shield, and being a 2-speed operator back in the day. That was, a great combination of secondary attributes that, even though he had at the time what was considered to be one of the worst gadgets in the game, it slowly became a staple pick for professional teams and for teams at all levels of competition eventually, because of their ability to just deny location. Squeezy denies the lives of 2 Marquette players, by the way.
The wall did
both
get
Hattie
denied.
and Imp.
Whew. That is incredibly impressive. So again, Squeezy just making space, right? Like, oh, they didn't see him. He swings and gets 2, gets 1, so the wall's up, being opened up. Squeezy is down, so he's down. I don't know if there was another player in cash with him, so that's a little rough. They don't have a castle barricade on that window, which makes a little bit of sense. It's a little odd, but I guess they expect it to be open anyway. Maybe using it for a little bit more of their roam strategies and playing a little farther from the site. But what a beautiful play from 2 again. Like, killing the guy inside of cash, and that's I don't even know what to say. That's crazy.
Marquette still have 3 defenders strong, and I do think that denying the first thermite charge does put a little bit of a damper into Ohio's attacking plans. I mean, you do have the ace still available to open up walls, so it's not like everything's on the hands of Stitch, but
they're missing all their hard breach now, plus their Thatcher EMPs. There is 0 special gadget utility on the side of Ohio now.
Changing mags.
It's just
still some flashbangs, but do you have?
Oh, some flashbangs, true, yeah. But like, no thermite, no EMP, there's no ace gadgets, no floor edge bomb, you're trying to clear out like a shield or whatever. Which that shield is kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. So I honestly think it's an even game with the utilities play. I stand corrected. We get to pick on a toucan. That could just be an open it up. And Leaf gets killed by Dupless, so now it's just Akak alone, fighting for the stairs, fighting for his life, kills the player. Oh, kills the player hot tub and gets killed by the guy who walks in through cash. And the round goes to...
Not the way that you'd expect things to be tied up, but after those opening 2 kills go the way of Squeezy while he's roaming or pushing into cash from CCTV, things open up for Ohio a little bit more. They're able to take a step back and drone out the positions of the remaining players who have all been forced back into sight. With gym and bedroom, there's a lot of default locations that defenders tend to hold, and that is something that Ohio reads into rather well, which gets them the round win there. Marquette, they did what they could. I was wondering as well for Ohio on their attack, they didn't have the Hibana like Marquette has been bringing, right? You don't see the castle barricades getting open, and I was wondering, even though Marquette was down a player, they still had all of that denial, all that time-wasting utility still up for themselves. And I was thinking that was how Marquette might have been able to win it out, but Ohio just finds ways around it. They've done all of the necessary steps to actually get themselves into the site, and they win an attacking round on Clubhouse. Not a rarity, it's tied 3-3, but again, you think historically on this side, it's not something that you see happen very often.
I'm honestly, I'm a fan of the floor, so like, I think Hibana is incredibly strong, but with, the shields, I feel like Marquette has some really strong shields. And so like, if you're, expecting Squeezy to maybe do some entry and try to get the kills, then maybe having that backup utility to just like destroy the shields, even like destroy a castle barricade in the worst case scenario, right? It has that similar type of utility to Hibana, drive it through the little drone hole, because they do not have a mute on the side of Marquette, so if you drive it through the hot tub drone hole, pop it up, boom, the castle barricade is gone. So it feels a bit of a similar role. Obviously, you lose a bit of that heart breach, which we saw from Ohio last round, that them missing that, it sucked a lot, but I do think that the Flores, I really do think
It's a good point. I mean, we hadn't seen it at all on Chalet because of the effectiveness of that operator on that map. Stitch as well, now opening up the gym bedroom wall. Toucan strikes first. Dupless taking a bullet to the cranium, and that's an ace down, so you only have one more thermite charge for your hard breach for this round. Not an operator you want to be or expect to lose that early. Squeezy on the Ash staying alive a little longer than my ranked teammates do on Ash. But despite all of that, Ohio University is down by 1 player in this attack with 1:30 left to go. and they have so much work to do. Squeezy is going to have to come up big here on these red stairs. They know that this player's here, but they're aware of him as well because of the motion alarm. Leaf swings wide, but nothing happening yet.
Not a whole lot going on. Like, so you lose the edge, right? So your thermite just has to rotate, and like, you're kind of in a weird spot. Like, Squeezy's kind of just a little bit low on the side of the map. I think they're leaning more towards hot tub. They're like, well, we got hot tub open, so maybe we just collapse on it, try to win some fights, get on the site. We still have some flashes, like a lot of flashes. We still have some Flores. Maybe you get a thermite somewhere. Probably not, but I like the aggressiveness from Squeezy here. I think he knows there's somebody in the corner of office. That's kind of what he's waiting on. And there's not really anybody from Marquette that's like aggressive enough to really catch him off guard. So I'm down to see. Oh, okay. Marquette kills Reed. So Ohio is now down to 3 players. They do manage to kill the sentry. Sentry's roaming. He gets dropped. Timmy gets a pick on Akek. Squeezy gets one at the top of the stairs. So Squeezy now has 2. Thermite is down. Basically a 2v2 because Thermite is down. 20 seconds left. Toucan is now alone trying to hold the diffuser's going down.
15 seconds remaining. Attackers activating diffuser.
Diffuser been planted. Squeezy making a hero play for 3 kills in this round to get enough space for his team to plant. And it's a 3v1 for Toucan, who was on relatively low HP, similar to all the HP of his opponents as well. A wide swing onto the wall, catches Timmy 2K prone on an angle, but Squeezy is just too good. The hatch from Logi Office, the final rotate that the player needed to make to cut down the roaming rotates of Marquette, as Ohio gets around over them on attack yet again.
And that's a 3K for Squeezy, by the way. Really well played. He held top stairs. He played it like he played it really passive, right? He was aggressive, but he was holding the space that he had, letting his team kind of start making a bit of space. They got a pick, and then it was just kill after kill after kill after kill. And then you end up with like Ohio in like a 3v1 versus Marquette, and Squeezy just rotates over.
Attackers need to
probably gonna
locate
drop the
and
hatch if he doesn't see
defuse
anybody. And it was really well played. Like they spread out, they collapsed properly, and they just held the space that they had. Major props to Squeezy for the 3K. That was incredibly well played.
In both of Marquette's defense attempts so far of Gym Bedroom, they have lost both of them to Ohio. And now they go back to Church, since that site has been unlocked now that we're in the latter half of the second half, so the final quarter of regulation. Marquette going to Basement, which was the other site that they've played. They have not attempted CCTV yet this map. At a 5-4 score line, this is kind of do or die for Marquette, I feel. And especially because like, Ohio wins, they go to match point. That's the obvious part of it. But I do think that if they lose Church, I wonder what that does for their confidence on their other sides. They've clearly favored Jim. They've gone to Jim twice. They've lost Jim twice. So where do they go now? Do they go to CCTV? I'm not entirely sure because what I've seen so far is that they like Jim. And if they can't get it rolling on Jim, then maybe they won't be able to get it rolling at all if Ohio can actually snuff this out on their map picks. So, both teams snuffing each other's map picks is well, that'd be an interesting twist of fate so far.
Yeah, and I'm liking the switch to an Ella instead of a Sentry, maybe using a little bit more, informational utility, because I do think that the one thing that their roam comp is lacking is that hard information. They do have a bulletproof cam and some new mines, but the Ella mines I think are so nice. As we can see, Ash just getting kind of dumpster by the Ella mine. Obviously not exactly affecting anything, but being a pain, kind of have to clear this now with the mines upstairs. Maybe if there weren't any mines, but the mines being there shows that the Ella might just be lurking in a random corner, and that would not be great. There is somebody on the stairs though. Leaf is on this set of stairs, and I see Hattie on the other set of stairs for blue. So playing maybe a little bit farther up. I'm liking this bulletproof cam.
Squeezy, by the way, after the rehost, has gained 7 kills. The rest of his team combines for 5. Ohio up 5-4 really makes you wonder. I mean, Squeezy definitely being the difference maker in a lot of these rounds for his team. And you can just see it even in the score line there for the player. Ibana charges go out, but they're shot out before they can detonate, so that does leave Ohio with less options on attack. They also are left with less options in attack as We goes down to the all-powerful Boss G. Timmy does land one back, and in fact, Dupless will make it 2 for Ohio.
They've got it's Ella and Smoke. They're two like slow down operators here, and there is not a lot of health on the side of Ohio, right? We have 2 players that are sub 20, and now Timmy is sub 0. He is under the ground. Boss G again putting in work. So 3v3 with about 35 seconds left on the round. Ohio's a little bit lower on HP, and it's gonna be kind of rough on defense, right? Dugan is just cemented into this, like into blue. And it's a little difficult to clear him out right now because you have like the Grim, but you don't like, I guess flashes, right? It's probably going to be on the side of Stitch. Maybe try to flash him out, but I think it's going to be a little bit tough. And Imp is holding to the long game with the Boss G, so
15 seconds
I do kind of hope
remaining.
they run into it. I want to see some more Boss G kills.
The timer's not on the side of Ohio either. Imp holding this down with the Boss G. Hattie holding down Generator with the Scorpion as well. Squeezy finds one back, but Hattie and Imp. Oh no, it's a 1v1 actually. It's the plant going down over by the cases, but he doesn't know where the player is! He's down to very low HP. Imp has to reload the SMG-11 because reloading that Boss G will take far too long. Dupless has talked himself into Moto and Memo. Both players a sneeze away from death. Imp sneezes a little bit harder, finds the case, and ties things up 5-5. We are definitely getting all rounds of regulation, no matter what happens here. As Marquette ties it 5-5.
That chair, I was like, there's no way he doesn't see him, and then I just look over and I'm like, oh no, there's a chair in the way. I was honestly, I was looking and I saw Imp had some Pokeballs in his pocket, and I was half expecting him to just throw it. A little unlucky, obviously. You don't exactly know how much damage you hit him for, but I would have loved to see some more capture gameplay.
Yeah, some more Pokeball, go. Except you just get hit for bludgeoning damage. Yeah. That's
it's not a Pokeball, it's just a giant rock. It's a Pokeball shaped rock. They're like, oh my gosh, it's a Pokeball.
That's how you turn any Pokemon into a ghost type. Anyway, that's extremely dark. CCTV being picked for the first time by Marquette. And the second time for this entire map, not a preferred site for either of these teams. And depending on how Marquette chooses to defend this, it'll definitely give them the confidence that they need to close this game out. Like I was saying in the previous round, how we hadn't seen them win Jit. And so they go to church for the first time, which is one of the safer sites for Clubhouse. It's one that you're, I guess, kind of expected to win. But for them to go to CCTV now, maybe that confidence boost that they got from actually winning on defense and winning a church round brings them a little bit. Well, I mean, they won both rounds on church, so maybe I'm creating some ideas out of thin air.
Especially in some of these situations, we've seen how they adapt, and so like having that confidence, right? You have a site that you've won twice now, so you have 2 rounds under your belt. This is huge for this, but I'm also liking the Tachanka switch. So originally it was Smoke, though I think with the way that Ohio's been kind of playing this, they've been planting more towards the B site rather like planting on the side of the servers rather than taking the breach. They just really take Garage, and so Tachanka being able to just raise Hellfire on that entire side of the thing without basically peeking at all. I kind of like it, and he also just has a ton of disruptions. You know, I think the disruption's kind of nice. You know, and you have obviously Frost Shotgun and whatnot. But I like seeing this Tachanka. Personal favorite of mine. Curious to see how it goes.
I think it's called like the DP-27 or something. Is the name of that SMG, but or the machine gun?
Correct. Yeah,
I
remember it.
I call it the gadget Tachanka's Wallaby Gun. Because that's what it is. It deletes walls. That's what it does.
It's the X wall.
And now introducing the brand new Rainbow Six Siege project, the Wallaby Gun.
I could totally see that. That would actually be a really. Oh, the wall gets open. You can't bandit trick that. There's no fees. That's well played. Like well played from Ohio. You know, getting them off the wall. It looks like they're trying to play more towards the wall this time. You know, because last time more of a garage style take. But if they can get that wall open, right? They still have their player top rafters holding that space down. It's going to be a little bit rough. I still think. I want to say it's a Wamai up there. Either that or the Izami. I'm a little unsure. I think it looks like a Wamai. But I don't know. We also see somebody peeking from the bottom of red stairs. I don't know. Squeezy might just get caught out. They know he's there though. You know, he turns away. Hattie just gets picked. Squeezy gets another one. That's the top rafters player. So they have rafters and wall open. A minute left. Ohio might be able to just kind of take this momentum and just get the plant down.
I'm genuinely surprised. I mean, that could be the opener that they needed. Squeezy well aware of there being a player down below here inside of Oil Pit, but now that the Marquette player hasn't been able to claim that kill, they have to take so much more time to rotate around. The Monty's taking a ton of space. A plant is going down. Stitch has the diffuser going into the ground here, so Ohio will potentially get another round for themselves. A wide swing from... A wide swing from Imp nearly goes terribly wrong, but Timmy2K just wasn't quite ready for the angle there. Squeezy gets one more, making it his third on the round.
Is it
been planted.
Is it a Thatcher be gone? Or maybe a Monty be gone? Hold up. DB27 possibly coming out. Imp and both Toucan are trying to just push. Oh, the Thatcher just goes deeper. No, Toucan gets dropped. Imp with the Deagle. Okay. He gets 3. Imp with the 3. But the Monty though, it's the shields all over again. You just can't fight it. And with 9 seconds, he just has nothing he can do. Diplos just gets off. Yep. Smacked in the face. That was an incredibly good try from Imp. Like that, like you met Squeezy's 3K with a 3K of your own, and then if it wasn't a Monty, I honestly think Imp might have had that. I think I had full confidence with him just going in and just deeging everybody. And we do see a timeout from the side of Marquette.
2 with the Deagle, no less, at the end of the round there. And I noticed that Imp had barbed wire, not in pocket, but had set it down somewhere. And I remember that Azami can bring impact nades as well, and so it's entirely possible that if Imp has impact nades at the end of the round there, you could kill the Monty. That is another thing in terms of a slight utility change that makes it go Marquette's way instead. But Ohio, when they find those opening kills because of Squeezy being able to, how do I put it? Squeezy getting those kills for free because of the player who was looking away on red stairs and again being re-peaked on the rafters, because what else can you do as the player playing inside rafters? Ohio opens that round wide open. They get the main wall open. That's what they need to do to get into the site. And Marquette, now realizing the fatality of their mistakes, is they're pushed onto match point here, and they'll take it again into Gym. It'll be their first round win if they can take it to full overtime, but only time will tell. In the next 3 minutes we'll figure out just who is victorious here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it looks like they're switching up the comp again. So bring out the Valk. I want to say it was Ohio who brought up the Valk, and then we hadn't really seen it past like maybe, I think it was 1 round, maybe 2. But again, switching it up, which again, I like the adaptation, right? They know what isn't working, and so trying to adapt. Maybe the information. I'm a little forgetful on exactly like what's been causing it, but Ohio's just been playing really good offense for Biden's side. Like it's been really nice to see them like take it. Like they've had a couple of mistakes, but you know, I don't know, with 2 lost rounds on this
5 seconds left.
It's going to be a bit of an uphill climb. But I have full confidence with their adaptation. I think both teams will do it. I think they'll rise to the occasion, and I'm excited to see it go to overtime if it does.
Both maps will have gone to overtime if Marquette can pull a defensive round win off here on their own map pick. But again, only time will tell. Gym not being their favored site so far, but in this attacking half, it has been slightly favored towards Ohio, as they have won 3 out of the 5 rounds played so far. If they can just string 1 more round win, a 3rd round win on Gym for attack, it'll be their map in regulation, despite it being Marquette's pick. So who on earth knows what will happen then in the next map, but we do have some more rounds of Siege to play. Because if things get tied up here, it's anybody's game. It could be a 2-0 for Marquette, a very narrow one to maintain their 6-game win streak. But if Ohio wins it here, they could play spoiler to that win streak and kick off the round of 16 for their playoffs onto another, well, tacking on a win to an otherwise winless season for Ohio.
I'm curious. The castle barricade is down, so they're probably going to be getting that wall open pretty soon. Again, we're seeing the Flores. Again, I'm really liking the Flores here. I think it's been doing more than the Habana would. I like Habana. However, Leaf does not like Ash, as he just puts a bullet in his head. Nice shot. Very, very, very clean shot from Leaf here, and I think they're just going to try to get this wall open. Not having an Ash is a little annoying, but I feel like she might be the weakest out of the utility for what they need right now. So you do get the wall open, there is no, again, we're looking at no Flores drones, waste gadget, no Selmas, no EMPs, and no Thermite hard breach. Also, no head for Timmy. Leaf picks up another with the UMP ACOG, absolutely just doing his job, right? Being a nuisance, forcing them to at least come to him, or keep picking Ohio State players, or yeah, Ohio players off just one by one.
It's this aggressive, cheesy roam, things that don't always work out when you play them, but in these rounds where you're at death's door, really, for the map, Marquette has to play a little bit more dirty, and that's what ends up happening. Leaf playing inside a garage gets squeezy as he tries to do that sort of cheesy entry. You know, the one where you melee the door twice and then shoot out the barricade. You can walk in without breaking the door on the third melee. Squeezy's done that a couple of rounds, and I think it was something that he had done again in Leaf. Sitting inside of garage, was able to pick up on that, and then gets the player who's also outside of a highway. Nitro goes flying, goes missing. AKEC down with utility, but we is down as well. Make that Stitch down as a double in the dying few seconds.
Oh, nice
Top
attempt
flawless.
from Duplas. No, it was close. It was close, but they didn't manage to pick up kill up inside of Ohio, and we are taken to overtime. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so here's kind of what I expect here. So Marquette has, Church and Arsenal, there it is. The instant, no hesitation lock-in, right? So they won the site twice. The other sites have been kind of wishy-washy. They feel very confident with it. I'm liking the Tachanka Goyo. So maybe they're playing more stall heavy, because I kind of have noticed as well with Ohio, right? They take a lot of map space, but then when it gets down to it, those last like 15-20 seconds, they start like flooding in. So you have a Goyo, you have a Tachanka, and you have a
Defenders,
Legion.
protect your bombs from being defused by
That is
attackers.
so much pain. You're basically stepping on hot coals the entire way down those hallways. So I'm a little worried for Ohio, but maybe they can adapt. You know, they noticed the Goyo, the Tachanka, maybe they can start trying to speed it up. I guess what to see how the round plays out.
A lot of this round, I feel, is also going to depend on Ohio University's drone work. How much they can actually scout out the defenses of Marquette here. Because previously Marquette had brought a Jaeger on defense, and I think it was actually instrumental in holding down some of Church. And when Church doesn't have the Jaeger available to them, I start to wonder, where are they going to be able to actually defend themselves from these Goyo canisters, from these Nomad charges? All of the, I mean, all throwable utility. I could just list it all off of Ohio's lineup here. Without that Jaeger being made available, that really makes me ponder, scratch my chin at what Ohio might be doing in terms of their attacker lineup here. Because they could see that and see that, maybe we can get this main wall open. They're rather trap heavy, but they're not quite so heavy on the overall utility denial. Also, 6 hard breach charges. So if Hibana wasn't enough,
Hibana wouldn't really be enough. I feel like on this map, because like you have hatches, you have like the bottom of stairs in a church, you have dirt, and so like maybe you can create some like tiny crawl holes. But I do like the idea of bringing the hard breach charges, especially because like I mean you have so much EMPs as well, but you have like so many throwables from the gadgets that like you can afford to bring like 6 hard breach charges. It's a little much, but I get the idea, right? They've had some rounds go where they just don't have the utility anymore, and they just kind of get caught out where that hard breach, they're just kind of screwed. They can't breach anything. But I am liking Squeezy kind of like walk up, and Duplas is walking up and just shooting Imp. So they have now taken control of Bar. This is kind of, I think, important because I think I'm not entirely sure if there's still a roam in this area.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I think he might have been the only player here. I think most of them might have fallen back at this point. But Duplas is basically on no health, and with a Goyo and a Legion and a Chalka still up, I don't think he's going to live very long.
I don't think so either. It's going to come down to that utility we had pointed out in the early game, and also the gun skill of Leaf. Wee has been cut down to size, that size being rather wee. And Toucan with the dinner plate will ring out for the death of Timmy 2K. Squeezy, who is on 11 kills, matching the rest of his team's total, is inside of dirt, but will only have one pathway, and that is forward on half HP against the defenses of Marquette. Despite losing a player early, Marquette is claiming the rest of the lives of Ohio.
Last one, bro. And again, it's literally his mortal enemies. Anybody who can literally clip him with a tiny bit of damage. This is a tough hill to climb. 20 seconds left. There has to be a miracle, but I think if anybody can do it, I believe in Dupless. Legitimately, you can do it. Nice try.
You know, I've never seen him win. I've never seen him lose those, but I had my eyes closed, so I still haven't seen him lose those.
I respect that. You know, I looked away. He lost. I didn't see it happen. I don't think he loses those. You know, he lagged. He lagged for sure.
Yeah.
It was a nice try.
Server lag.
Server lag. My SSD froze. Siege happened. I don't know.
Discord
Ubisoft
stream went down for a second. I didn't see what happened there entirely.
Ubisoft DDoSed me, something like that.
Ubisoft themselves DDoSed you in particular. Like, yes, that Alex over there. Hate that guy.
Oh, I've been DDoSed. Oh, it sucks. No,
Attackers need to locate
we are seeing a
and
bedroom
defuse
gym
bombs.
from Ohio's defense. I think they had a lot better defensive play on this than Marquette did, right? I don't think Marquette won a single bedroom gym, but I think Ohio. I want to say it was 1-1 or it was 2-1 for their round history.
So Ohio played gym defensively twice. They won it once, lost it once. Marquette played it 3 times, lost it twice, won it once. So the overall record, if my math is correct, which it probably isn't, is 2 out of 5 success rate on gym, not including this round. This will be the 6th round. And winning this will be either 3 out of 6 success rate, which is a 50% defensive win rate, or it'll be a 2 out of 6, which is a 33% win rate for gym, which is unexpected to say the least. And gym you usually have as like one of the primary bomb sites for a lot of teams, and so it's something that you will expect teams to be prepared for, but at the same time, because it's such a common pick, the attackers might also be perfectly comfortable with taking it anyway. Final charge is going out, so this is Marquette's chosen attack operator.
I'm kind of liking it, yeah. And I honestly, I believe, like, if there's any attacking team that's going to be this heavy against Marquette, they've shown their prowess for, like, the this map, like, on both sides, right? You know, I think we went even on both sides, and it's been impressive. Like, I also like their composition, you know, obviously the 3-yard range. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
I saw it coming! And I saw him throw the drone! That was well played from Timmy. That felt like an intuition timing kind of thing, you know? Where it's just like, I think there's a guy on drone right now, and he had it perfectly timed. So that's massive for Ohio, right? So you've lost your capital, so that is your flames and smokes. You can't just get onto the site, and you can't exactly clear people all that well without it, because like you have a yank, which is nice, but then you have, I think, yeah, Havana's down to like 1 flash. Thermite has some flashes, so you still have some flashes, like a lot of flashes to work with. But you don't have any way to like hard clear somebody out of a corner, so if somebody's, you know, watching those feed holes, you might just be dead regardless.
And again, Squeezy playing in this position that he was before, downstairs inside of billiards. If there's an angle that Toucan tries to plant on, they have to worry about this Castle who's playing downstairs. They won't have to worry about Timmy getting any more lucky siege timing, though, for the rest of this round. The Legion player will be demoted to cam duty. The Squeezy's just covering so much of the map, trying to find all of the entry points, all the angles, hold Ohio's defense together. But I think if this player falls, this could be the advantage that Marquette needs, because it's been a thorn in their side, really. Not playing thorn, but you know what I mean.
So Squeezy's finally over here, but I see some yank flashes. And yup, Stitch gets picked on a Toucan. Retraded, Leaf gets the pick. So when I see Ying running in, Squeezy picks up a pit, fill into him. The bandit, he lives! No, Hattie! Okay, so it's just Leaf alone, tries to get the pick, and he drops Dupless, but Wee gets the refrag, and it goes in the favor of Ohio. Honestly, pretty well played. Like, it felt like a, maybe not super dominant, but they had a really good roam going. They had so much space.
You're gonna have to say the line. We are going all the way maximum overtime. Both of these maps going to overtime has been a true testament to how both of these teams absolutely deserve to be here in the round of 16. The stakes are higher for Ohio, though, as Marquette goes on to the defense, which they did win their defensive round on this clubhouse overtime.
Oh, but they are playing bedroom gym. I feel like this is like the testament round. This really feels like a solid ending to the saga, right? This map, bedroom gym, has felt like the linchpin in this map, right? Marquette losing, right? So Ohio winning their defense. So it's been in favor of Ohio now. Ohio, I think, is a 2-1 for bedroom gym defense, and then Marquette was on 2. But, you know, I think, like, trying to stick it down, we know how to adapt to this. We know how to hold this. We want to make this happen. And I like that education. I like adjustments. And again, we're seeing, like, a warden. So it feels like kind of like, I think it's been Hattie as kind of, like, switching his operator around for their, like, the way that they're playing this. I'm liking it a lot. I think the warden's a pretty solid pick for this. I don't see any flashes, though. I do see Zofia, and then I see some smoke grenades from Thermite. So Warden's probably going to be a little bit better for the fact that his gun plus shield here. So I'm curious to see what happens for the Warden. And Marquette choose to defend this bedroom gym site.
Drone's ready.
5 players alive on both sides. We've seen some early engagements, but with this being overtime match point, you really can't take any opportunity for granted. And you can't also overextend yourself, because if Ohio loses this, they're knocked out. Marquette wins it 2-0. But if Marquette wins this, or if Ohio wins this, then we go to a map 3 on bank, and who on earth knows how that's going to go? Timmy does get the castle barricades open on the jacuzzi wall, and makes the space enough for the Thermite to open up that jacuzzi wall as well, with 2 minutes left on the clock. So plenty of time for Ohio to work around on the attack, but also with all players of Marquette being still remaining on the board, Ohio has to worry about their approach now. Because sure, you've gotten some of your checklists done, you've gotten some of your preemptive work out of the way, but now the other condition that you're running into is the fact that, well, there's still 5 players with guns up and armed to the teeth now.
But I am liking the Zofia, right? So they switch up the players, choosing to switch it out for Zofia, maybe because they've been seeing less utility denial like Jaeger and Omai. And so, you know, sending the players out for something a little more aggressive with Zofia, having that ability to just run down, right? That was one of the things they were missing with the Ash-based Thatcher and the Thermite. They were lacking a bit of that offensive utility. Now with the Zofia, like, I like the fact that, you know, the stones for the information, but also, you know, obviously, no more utility from the side of Zofia. A little unfortunate, but a little unfortunate as well for Wee, as Imp cleanly takes his head off, and he's just in. Timmy's just in, taking space, trying to make something happen. He's prone and shot in the feet by Toucan. 5v3 in favor of Marquette, and we see Squeezy just trying to make a play here. Stitch gets picked on a Toucan. Okay, so 3v4. Squeezy is now working his way into Sticks. Kills the Warden. He knows that there's probably one on the staircase. The Frost peeks him, swings. Imp gets to pick on a Squeezy, so Squeezy no longer has that space. There is another player in Logi, though. Thermite trying to stick the plant in Master. Oh, Akik swings, shoots him through the fetal. It is Dupless in a 1v3 match point overtime. Can he do it?
This is match and map point here for Dupless as he's peeking inside a Logi. Pretty close to full HP, taking a little bit of damage possibly from touching a bandit battery. But he has 3 players of Marquette and only 15 seconds left to go. This could be Ohio down and out as they fall to the 6-win streak. Marquette at the absolute death of it. 8-7. You can't get any closer than that. But Marquette, after a hard-fought victory, an absolutely fitting title for the end of that match, will win it out 2-0, but in the narrowest fashion you have ever seen.
I know I haven't seen anything narrower. It's been incredible. These teams have been so back and forth. They've been playing out of their minds. Obviously, you know, we have star players on each side. Imp stepping up, right? It's been incredible to see him play. But again, like we've been seeing, it feels like everybody's been stepping up. We've seen clutches from, it feels like almost everybody on the team. We've been seeing great team play, adaptation from both sides. Like it really felt like a back and forth. I honestly didn't know who was going to win. It was like maybe leaning this way during the match. At the end, I just threw my hands up and I was like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's see who can make a play. And it was an incredible match fought by both teams.
As soon as that first kill went the way of Marquette on defense, I felt that that was kind of the nail in the coffin for Ohio. Ohio so badly needed the man advantage on that attack because as soon as Marquette can sink their teeth in with less than half of the round left to go, that's where the momentum starts to shift in the defense's favor, and that's where they eventually find their round win. We're going to go ahead and expedite things here a little bit. Going to get into a player interview pretty soon, but not before a short little break. Don't go anywhere.
Nice. Good pick.
Take it.
Take it
There's
then.
two in there. One more.
Another second.
Oh,
the chair. CS double.
Freezer door, freezer door.
Tap.
Nice.
Gonna get active
Doc
on site.
string piano. Doc string piano. One up. A zombie was bathroom door.
Oh my god.
Last one was bathroom. Bathroom door.
Oh my god.
Steven! Holy shit, you're so good! Oh my god, Steven. And it's only.
It's total calamity, total mayhem inside of the server. Out of nowhere, they find their round back into their favor.
Holding up for the blood, the wave!
And I think he might just find it!
Tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back? Can you run that back? I'm trying to play that back. I want that. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, real smooth. Can you play that back? Can you run that back? I'm trying to play that back. I want that. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Tap, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. I'ma give it all I got, can't quit, can't stop. I'ma be shut it down like this. You ain't coming to my house, you ain't about what I'm about. Taking nothing. Defense wins games, whatever it takes. I bring it. Defense wins games, whatever it takes. I bring it. I'ma give it all I got, can't quit, can't stop. I'ma be shut it down like this. Defense wins games, whatever it takes. I bring it out. Let's go.
pick from IUPY. The flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry. And now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down. We'll see one. Push when they got him pushed back.
Gets another one. Gets another one.
Oh, they're gonna.
It should.
Yeah. But it feels weird because like in an ace, I'm so fast. This game is so jacked at the die.
Either.
It's total calamity, total mayhem inside of the server. Out of nowhere, they find their round back into their favor.
Holding up for the blood. The wave. And I think he might just find it.
Tap tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Tap tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go.
Welcome back, friends, to the Midwest R6 broadcast. I'm Sergio Kai, joined by Arcade Pro Alex, and our winner of tonight's first match, Marquette against Ohio University. We are here with Lee 45, the dedicated Shield player from Marquette. And Yeah, thank you for joining us from the $5 million studio that you got
Thank
there
you.
with the highest quality camera known to
Thank
mankind.
you.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to
Like
have
I
you on
said, I have to
tonight.
hold it in my hand because it's got no mount to it, so it's kind of like a selfie stick thing going on here.
It's pretty solid for what it is.
It was
I love
$3. Like I
these
said,
players.
$3 after tax. It was all things considered, this is extremely valuable.
It is pretty good. You could probably, if it was $5, it would probably have more pixels to it. But
Right.
talk about the match that you guys had as well. You guys both maps went to overtime, and especially on 8-7 on Clubhouse, which was your map pick. Did Ohio have you guys sweating at any point? Like you were getting nervous towards the end of those matches?
Of course you were. You're in an overtime game. Who isn't getting a little nervous? We have a fantastic coach. All right. I would need to say this right now. Our coach, Burnt Turkey, Austin, he goes to MSOE. Hit him up sometime. Go to his house even. He's a great guy. He's able to his shot calling in these timeouts is so incredible. The amount of confidence he can give us by saying this is what you guys need to do. This is how they're playing. This is their weakness. It restored so much confidence. I'm so happy we have him.
Yeah, it sounds like you have wonderful support. I mean, Burnt Turkey I recognize from Tier 2 Siege.
He was a Tier 2 player. Yeah, he's a little washed nowadays. Not as good as he was, but don't get me wrong, he's a great player at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
HK Rebels, rest in peace back in the day. But so what was you're talking about the changes and calls that he made? Like what were the specific adaptations that you were called to make to actually push those games over the line for yourself?
Right. What it really comes down to is he said, listen, he said, listen, they're not good. You got to swing them. And then we started swinging them. And that's what it came down to. That's truthfully what it was. He said, you guys need to start getting a little bit more active. You're better. Swing them. We started swinging, get a bit more active, and we started winning rounds. That's what it came down to, really. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy high level. He just said, you're better. He recognized that. He said, you need to get more proactive.
Did we lose the $3 million camera? Oh, no.
Gone? Did you lose me?
Oh, you're back. You're back. we were talking.
Maybe?
Oh wait, we might have lost him. Dude, this is
my back.
We're
back. Welcome.
He's back.
Welcome back. What's going on? What did you miss? Sorry, the camera's overheating. It's getting a little hot in here.
No, it's still understandable, Alex. I'm sure that you had some questions as well for Leaf going into the last interview.
I know we mentioned obviously you playing a lot of shield on offense rounds. I'm curious how effective you felt that the shields were. Like if it was the right play or if maybe
I mean, you can never go wrong with the shields in today's meta, man. I didn't play shields until the shield rework. These things are not balanced. Right? If there's a shield on the board, somebody's got to play it. All right, somebody has to do it every single round. Or you're not trying to win. You're not about it. That's simply all it is. I think if you pick a shield, you are getting value almost no matter what. Especially Monty, the amount of value that operator provides is not fair. The amount of pressure you can create, for example, on rafters and clubhouse, you just walk up that shit and you can duel the guy in rafters, no problem, no threat to yourself. Not balanced. Shields need gutted. That's my answer.
I know I'd be the guy playing it. Monty is very strong. Shields are
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm gonna abuse it. I'm gonna abuse it. That's what it comes down to. I'm gonna use it. You know what I mean?
If it's good, use it. It's And then I had one more question. So bedroom gym was kind of the contentious objective the entire clubhouse match, right? It was the side you guys were fighting over. I'm curious your thoughts on that. Like, how did it feel like playing in those moments where it was back and forth, back and forth?
I mean, obviously tense. I want to say it was so. This kind of comes back to what the coach was saying. He gave me specifically confidence. There was a round where I climbed up a garage ladder from oil pit and shot Ash in the balcony, and then I peeked out bottom garage and killed the guy in highway. Things like that confidence play he was talking about, that's what I think really made that bedroom site so much fun to play. And it was able to swing it in the favor of us, if that makes any sense. And again, shout out Burnt Turkey. We love that guy.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Like, honestly, major congrats to y'all. You guys played really well. It was fun watching it. Like, it was close. Like, you guys ended up winning 2-0, but honestly, I think either of those maps could have gone either way.
Right.
So again, major props for y'all winning that. Yeah, any shout outs other than Burnt Turkey, the absolute GOAT?
Burnt Turkey, the team all around is great. I want to shout out to Carter's dad, Toucan Dad in the chat. He was there the whole time, helping us out, giving us that confidence. Toucan Dad and Burnt Turkey really are my shout outs of the day here.
All right, well, major props to them. Major props to y'all for winning. It was a pleasure having you on here. For everyone watching, don't go anywhere. We will have a short break, and then we'll be over to Illinois State versus Kansas State.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. Thank you really for coming out. We'll see you guys in a little bit.